one direction. Today, it is headed in another. You ever think the universe was against you? Fear, belief, love, phenomena that determine the course of our lives. These forces begin long before we are born and continue after we perish.
Our lives are not our own. We are bound to others, past and present. And by each crime and every kindness, we birth our future.
I won't let you go again. I believe there is another world waiting for us, a better world. And I'll be waiting for you there.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network. OutlawRadioNetwork.com.
All right, it's the Outlaw Radio Network for the 16th of November, 2022. Thanks for checking out the show. We appreciate it. It's a short crew to start. We have more coming. They just aren't here yet as one of them is wandering in. This is what happens when the distillery is open downstairs. Some people get their libations late.
Apparently, we've become halfway famous for liquoring people up before they come on air. So,
Hey,
Very funny.
Hey, I would love to get feedback from peeps that listen to this show on what they think about the Brandy Cruz interview from Sunday, the 3 hours of Brandy Cruz.
that's the difference between you and I, Kevin. I don't care what anybody
no,
thought.
I would love to hear
I was
feedback.
in fanboy mode, so
No,
it was
I know.
all good.
I know.
3 hours with Brandy Cruz. That sounds like a really bad Pornhub movie, but okay.
Wow, Dennis totally took that in another direction.
I'm
glad
just saying
you
that's
said
the way
that.
it sounds. Yeah, thank you. Okay.
glad you said that.
I was thinking the best thing in the world would be a brandy, and you should name it Cruz, because
Cruise control.
something like that. But you know,
Why-
a
Is that
brandy
Why is there a dog in the
named
studio?
Cruz.
Oh, okay. I just saw a dog and didn't realize there were people
Yeah.
with it.
Yes, I put it in the chat
Yes, you
earlier.
did.
I didn't
Yes,
see it. I was
yes.
A service animal was coming.
Yes,
I just
I didn't.
didn't state that it was.
I made it
A
a point to
large
not
dog.
bring my dog, which
Well,
is in
usually-
training to be a service.
Usually, when there's a dog in studio, it's Paul's dog, and he's trying to stimp my privacy.
I'm literally not, yeah.
This dog is very well behaved.
This dog is super cool.
Okay.
So
Usually, service dogs are.
oh yeah, she's a sweetheart.
So-
We got a well acquainted.
I don't know that I'd call Kevin a she, but I mean,
Shut up, Paul.
Let's talk about Gypsy.
All right.
Oh,
so
my
just to give you the rundown, K-Dog, St. Paul, Black Tom, DT, and DJD. Boss Baby is on special assignment.
she's learning to wipe from front to back.
She's actually in Ukraine as we speak. What did you say? What did you say? Wow.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know.
Right off the wheels.
Did I really
right
just
off
hear
the
that?
wheels,
It's out
man.
there
I
for the
don't.
world.
I don't even know what to do with that. Right off the wheels.
Wow.
All right.
I'm Polish.
Anyway, Boss Baby is actually en route to Ukraine to get us the dirt on the ground. So we'll hear from her Sunday after she returns.
Dirt on the ground.
Dirt on
Yep.
the ground. What's actually going on?
That's been a fascinating day today.
Yeah.
Fascinating last 24 hours if you've been following it.
Okay, hold on.
much
We
as
have
I
to talk
can.
about Brandy Cruz behind her back because we said we were going to.
Yes.
So we totally have to.
I
we have to
actually-
maintain the tradition.
Real quick, I have to tell her thank you. For anyone who may have caught her podcast Monday morning,
Yeah.
she had some very kind things to say about one of my products
Yeah.
in
she
the
did.
distillery. Holy crap, I've been busy just because of her. This
Really?
isn't an advertisement. Yeah, my tasting room's been packed.
Has it really? Good. Nice
Yeah.
job. Listen, she had nice things to say about the show too. So
She did.
You focus on your tasting room. I'll focus on the show. No, listen, I think it was a hoot having her in here. I was afraid she might, because traditional journalists, which is what she was, right, before she
Mhm.
did her podcast,
I wouldn't call her that anymore either.
No,
but yes,
but
that's
what
what
she
she was.
was.
Yeah.
tend to be a little stuffy, tend to be a little reserved, tend to be a little cautious, right?
Yeah. With
And-
like
Yeah.
every word.
After you spent that money on that much college, yeah, you're
No,
cautious.
But she
after
said
that.
from the get-go, television is not where she intended. Her heart was
No,
with
it
radio.
was radio.
Yeah. Well, listen, she did a great job, and I always will text a guest if I book them. Now I didn't book her, so I didn't reach out first thing Monday morning to thank her. She reached out to me first thing Monday morning and thanked me for coming on.
That's pretty awesome.
Which I thought was really cool, right?
is.
I think it's classic.
I
So
think
we'll
it's
have her on again.
Yeah, I believe it. I find it awesome that she doesn't view us as less than her or anything like that. She really came on as a peer, and that
Yeah.
very, very.
Yep.
I like that.
And she handled the pushback on a few, the points of
'Cause
conversation.
She
really
went
well.
after me pretty hard on my Democrat stance.
I've had more people message me about that. Like, you and Kevin have been doing radio for 20 years, and you haven't got half as far as Brandy Cruz did.
Yeah.
All I can say is I know.
She's good.
But I about choked when she said what her salary was at Q13.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Yeah, 2K, 200K a year.
Whew.
Yeah. Listen,
It's like
good.
all of us in this room added together.
No, that's not true.
So therefore, to the ownership group.
Yeah. Attention ownership.
Heidi said she was too liberal, but she was fair from what she heard, and she seemed to add a nice energy to the show. Listen, I think anybody is too liberal in Heidi's view. I mean,
true.
I love you, Heidi. You're my future ex-wife, but I think anybody is too liberal in your view. She did have good energy. It'll be good to have her back in again. And she said she'd come back on again, and we'll have her back on.
Yeah, I for those, I was talking to Kevin afterwards, and we were kind of discussing the ups and downs of the interview. And I told him, I said, I know it's a long way out, man, but I said, we need to plan to have her in for election night coverage in 2024, because that'd be a badass election night coverage show.
Yeah.
We could get some real good play off of that.
I think it'd be fun.
Oh my God.
She is hoping to go daily though with her show. I think it'll be hard to pull that off if she goes daily.
If she goes daily, yeah,
she's hoping to go daily. I listened. If you listen to her Monday podcast,
but she doesn't do a very long show either.
No.
So I mean, it's.
Could you imagine getting Spike Cohen and Brandy Cruz in at the same time
on the same show? I don't know if we'll ever get Spike.
We'll just sit back and listen to them.
I mean, like at the Libertarian Convention.
I don't
they just
know
had here
if
last
we'll
summer.
ever get Spike in studio again, just because of where he lives, and I don't think Washington State is a hot spot for Spike.
I heard, I don't know, but I heard he was back in the state just a week ago.
Why don't you let him know the next time he comes to state? We'd like to have him in studio again, and then maybe we can reach out to Brandy and have Brandy come into studio as well.
Hey, we're getting the axe throwing thing right down here, and
That's true.
he is into that.
Yeah,
so hey,
listen,
Spike, come on.
Listen, off the beaten
Real men
path.
are into axe throwing.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah, it's totally a man thing.
Off the beaten path. The idea of axe throwing and alcohol drinking combined into one establishment scares the ever-loving crap out of me.
And I so can't wait to do it.
Hey,
I don't get it.
Okay, I'll explain it to you in one very simple phrase.
Go ahead.
Aren't you Native American?
Yeah.
Enough said.
It's actually kind of a
Really?
Scottish, Irish, Viking,
Little
everywhere.
fire, water, and axe throwing there.
Yep.
Exactly.
I've
I'm sure it's happened.
There's actually Washington State liquor rules about how that works, and they're really, really they regulate how much you're allowed to drink while you're throwing axes.
I can't imagine why they would do that.
Or we just go out to Olala where there's no regulation.
Right.
Can we put an over-under on the number of days the business is open before somebody loses a hand? Can we put an over-under, please?
Tuesday.
Tuesday?
It opens on a Monday. The over-under is Wednesday.
Yeah, and that's still during construction. Because they are opening in phases.
I do want to issue a challenge out to our good friend Heidi Hot Sauce.
Here it goes again.
No, listen. Your
You're
son's,
my future ex-wife.
No, your son's football team had a very good run, but now they're out of the playoffs, and there's no reason you can't come out for a Sunday show.
Church.
No, it's the Sunday night. No,
Not church. It's a
church is
reason.
Sunday morning.
It's a reason.
She's going to say, but I have to work.
Yeah.
All right.
I have
Anyway.
He still has school the next morning.
Whatever.
Kid still has school the next morning.
Kid Schmid. Anyway, spring break's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, winter break is
5
coming.
months.
No, winter break
Winter
is
break.
coming. Winter break is less than a month away. Whatever.
You mean Christmas break? Or
Yeah.
are you too afraid to say
Not
Christmas?
break.
Okay.
Kevin Nelson said add some lawn darts. Yeah, it's a great idea. What we should
Bocce bowling.
No, what we
I
should
have
get.
bocce balls.
Remember those metal lawn darts that
Yes.
you had when you were kids? That
Oh.
somebody inadvertently just threw it up in the air and just to see where it came down and prayed it didn't hit you in the head. That's what they need to add next door.
I have a set of those somewhere.
Do you still have?
I want to
existing lawn darts?
Original lawn
broadcast
darts,
live.
wow.
I want to broadcast live from their grand opening at the Axe Place. If you
Okay,
can make
let's
that happen.
let's arrange it.
If you can make that happen.
All right.
It's worth it. I mean, they're going to be a new
Well,
tenant.
well,
and
Tom
everything.
happens to have met the owners already.
Nice.
so-
Are they going to carry Black Ring Spirits?
There's a bear ass in the woods.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Hold on, Tom. From a business perspective, is it a good idea?
Absolutely.
Hold on. Let me finish my question.
I know the question.
This is radio.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth. Is it a
At least
good
he didn't call you
Hold on.
Sparky.
Is it a good idea for them to sell and be in your same business in the same building as yours? Does that take away from your tasting room?
Not at all.
No. Okay.
No.
All right. Just
No, it's actually better for me from a paperwork standpoint to not be doing so much on-premise consumption and more wholesale distribution. That's where my bread and butter is
And Paul,
get liquor into the world.
And Paul, what?
Paul, zip it, Sparky. All right.
I'm not an electrician.
So listen, I want to set up the show for tonight. So we have a very cool interview at 7:30. And I'm going to let Dennis actually kind of preface the interview because Dennis is responsible for setting this up. And I give props where props are due.
Thanks.
He just said, "Whoa,
whoa!" I mean,
I was straight Joey Lawrence.
We're intentionally giving Dennis mic time, which is never a great idea. But go ahead, Dennis. Tell us about our guest at 7:30.
We have a representative from a program called P.ink, which stands for Personal Ink.
Okay.
And it's to give aid to women that have survived breast cancer surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, medical tattooing. And it's, to cover scars and things like that. And, help these women feel, better about their situation where they're at and surviving.
like whatever they need to have
exactly.
covered, right?
And not feel, I've got Franken boobs and things like that. I've seen that. My sister is here in studio as well. And she was a recipient this year. And I just felt it would be a great, honor for something that's really brought someone I care about so much joy.
Yeah.
To use a platform I have available.
Yep.
There
you go.
To make
Debbie,
it happen.
you're scaring me. What are you doing on the line?
And that's perfect, Debbie. Shh, you're not on radio.
And so we have her, KJ from P.ink of the greater Seattle area.
Uh-huh.
This is actually a nationwide program.
Very cool.
And just honored to have her in.
And it's good, like I said to you in chat, Dennis. It's like, and for those that aren't, can't really understand that what we're talking in this sense, right? Like we spend a lot of time. Dennis spends more time than anybody else here at the studio. It's a blessed moment whenever any of us has something that we get to kind of give back to and say, oh, we have this platform at our disposal and we get to use it. And in so many ways, we've done this for so long and it's always all about community. And this is like the ultimate in community.
Well, hold on. We're not bringing her on yet. 7:30.
Yeah.
We want to give
her
that's
all right.
segment.
She can still be there.
She can
You're
be
fine. You're fine. Get your headphones on. Be comfortable.
Why would you deny a lady 11 minutes, dude? Just like
that's true.
I didn't mean it like that. Any of you guys?
Because 11 minutes is a long time for me.
I didn't mean it at all like that.
11 minutes is a long time.
These guys are jerks, man. I didn't mean it that way.
Hold on. Here's why. Because I don't want to get into conversating with her about what they do and why, and then have to go to break in the middle of it.
Well, here, you want to feel better? My sister's here too, and actually, you and my sister had a brief moment on the big radio show back in the day.
Did he sign her hiney?
No,
I did not.
She asked her to rate him. I had brought her down there just so we could use the copy machine in the office.
She asked for Kevin to rate her? Or?
No, Kevin asked for her to rate him.
Oh, no.
She rated him a very generous 3.
Yeah, it was 3.
On a scale of 1 to 10?
Who does that remind you of?
Wow.
Who does that remind you of? 3. I give her a 3. Remember that? Back from straight back in the day. Yeah. Anyway, and today I'm not even a 3.
my new hero.
I'm like a 2.5 now. So
you're probably smaller now than you were then.
I'm sure I am. Yeah, probably.
Did you still have hair?
I think no big radio show days. No, I didn't have hair. No.
Everything shrinks.
That was
everything shrinks with age.
Shut up, Paul.
What? He lost his hair for a good reason.
Okay, really quick. Can we get on a topic really quick, please?
Yes, and after
we were talking about your hair.
I know. I don't want to talk about my hair.
And after we're done with our guests, by the way, I'm going to have folks go with me to the National Institute of Health website so we can talk about what got posted there over the weekend. This is mind-blowing.
You shared that in our personal chat, and I'm like, what kind of podunk, uber-conservative website is this from? Oh, the NIH. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I thought it had to be a lie, man.
I know.
I thought it had to be like a hack job site from some Trumpermaga.com or something, and it wasn't.
Totally. I was in there, and when it got sent to me, I'm like, there's no way this is true. So I vetted it, and I had to change my underwear. That's all I can say, because I was like, oh my, like that shirt you got me from Jamaica.
Yeah.
I just, wow. So, and we'll get into that after our guest.
Curacao.
Curacao.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't that the island that Natalie Holloway disappeared from?
No, she vanished from Aruba.
Aruba.
I was in Aruba as well.
That's where the keychain came from.
Yeah. Yeah. Aruba looks beautiful, but tiny.
Oh my God.
Looks tiny.
You got no idea.
Did you go scuba diving or anything?
So
or snorkeling or?
So let me answer this in 2 parts. We swam, but not snorkeled or scuba. We swam with pigs in the Bahamas.
Swam with pigs.
Is what Emily wanted to
Pig
do.
Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pig Island. Yeah, it's big down there. It's popular. I'll upload some pictures this weekend. I got to sort through them.
What kind of pigs?
Native, just
Edible?
The wild kind.
So true.
All pigs are edible.
So true story. Pigs are not native to the island,
Mhm.
but the Spanish brought them there and left them there, and they bred them, so they had food on the island as they further explored the New World, right? So the islands are now just inundated with pigs, and so a bunch of them are they're basically pets, so to
Domesticated.
speak. Domesticated. Thank you. And so they're totally people conscious and totally cool with it, and they'll walk up. You'll feed them. They'll walk with you.
Do you know you can feed a person to pigs, and the only thing that'll be left are teeth?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That's
You guys remember
Thanks
that story about
waiting to tell me that
the
after
mass
we did the trip.
murder up in Vancouver, British Columbia?
Yeah.
That killed a bunch of women, and the only way they were able to link them was the teeth that they found in the pig feces. You know what the worst part was about that story? Is he turned the pigs when he slaughtered them into sausage and sold them and gave them away at his butcher shop.
Nice.
Bacon.
Yeah.
So let me finish answering your question.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then
That was a tangent.
in Dominican Republic, I went to a place called Ocean World where we snorkeled with sharks. That's where we snorkel with the nurse sharks.
Nurse sharks.
Nurse sharks, yeah.
That's a real shark.
It is real. It's not,
they're
not a
really
terrifying
awesome.
I mean, it's a
shark.
real shark, but it is named Nurse for a
It's
reason.
a nurse shark.
Yeah.
So we snorkel with the nurse sharks, and then we snorkeled in another area with a whole bunch of tropical fish, and I've got videos and stuff.
Well, that's
about
cool.
that.
I'm glad you got a chance to go. Is that the first time you ever went snorkeling or diving or anything like that?
Yeah, by the way, it took me, tell me this is normal. It took me probably 10 minutes to get to where I could put my face in the water and breathe through the snorkel without hyperventilating.
Well, if you
Like,
hadn't
have to
done it,
train
Or sounding
yourself.
like a whale.
Yeah, if you've never done it before,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
that's normal.
Yeah, because
Kevin, let me introduce you to a search and rescue diver. Meet Tom.
Oh, were you a search and rescue diver?
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
What have you not done besides a gigolo? Or maybe you were. I don't
He
know.
has not found Bigfoot.
No, I haven't
Not
found Bigfoot, and I have not piloted an aircraft yet, which is actually what I wanted to do when I graduated from high school.
Yeah.
But the military wouldn't give me anything without
Yeah.
going to
Well, as
college.
we've got some shows coming up, and I know Kevin's going to be gone for a couple weeks on vacation. If you have
Again?
Not a
Netflix,
couple
watch
weeks, 5
watch
days.
Graham Hancock's new series, his 10-part miniseries. It's wonderful, and we're going to get into it and talk about some of that stuff, the Younger Dryas
I'm
period.
only
And
missing 2 shows.
no, it'll be some good stuff. We'll talk about some issues that happened that wiped off some civilizations around 10,800 years ago. Good stuff. Best series I've ever seen on the topic.
Hey, we're
You'll
planning,
really get
I'm
into
in.
it.
I'm in.
we're planning our next cruise, by the way. You want to know where we're going?
Nope.
Where are you going?
Panama Canal, baby.
Oh, I've heard.
I found a cruise.
that
It's
is super
cheaper than the
cool.
one we just did.
I just hope your boat don't get stuck.
Cheaper than the one we just did. It goes out of San Francisco, makes 2 stops in Mexico, 1 stop in Costa Rica, goes through the Panama Canal, stops in Colombia, and then goes to Galveston, Texas.
Picks up a few illegals on
That'd
the
be
way,
cool.
and
That would be really cool.
Oh, did I tell you guys a story about how I got detained by border and customs when I got into Orlando?
why would you be
What?
detained?
Because
by-
you look so Puerto Rican.
Because I had Emily with me,
Mhm.
and I'm not on her birth certificate,
Oh, yeah.
and so they had to make sure I was not child trafficking.
Oh.
So we spent an hour and a half detained, and they went through our phones, my laptop, because I had my laptop to offload photos.
Mhm.
They went through all of our electronics. Yeah, it was,
Should have been at least fairly easy. If they
Wow.
had
and then
gone
he
through
was
your
asking me
Facebook
questions
page.
about filing VA paperwork too while I was there. I thought that was
Yeah.
funny. Like, you think I might be a criminal, but I'm okay for you to ask questions about VA paperwork.
Listen, you should be happy though that they went to that
It's all
effort
about-
to make sure that.
Oh no, I'm totally cool with it. It just when we got to Port Canaveral after the cruise, we were ready to be home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like at that point, you spent 10 days, you're ready to go home.
How long did it take you to get your land legs back?
No, I was in the Navy, man. I don't have an issue with that.
You were in the Navy. You weren't on boats
I was on a ship
for what? A month?
6 weeks.
Okay.
Shut up.
I'm
Sure.
just saying.
Before they sent me back to the Midwest. Yeah.
I worked on ships longer than that.
It doesn't. It's never thrown me off. Ships have never. No. All right.
You know the ferry doesn't count, right?
Oh, that's true.
Hey, what Paul does in his free time is none of our business.
They're
None
not
of our
fairies.
business.
They're heterosexually challenged.
All right, so we're not going to get into a topic because we got like 90 seconds. So in a moment, we're going to go to break. We come back, we'll talk with our awesome guests about the awesome things that they do. At the top of the hour, we're going to get in at 8 o'clock. We'll get into what Paul found on the NIH website, which will literally make you laugh your ass off.
Hopefully, it'll make you laugh.
Well, it should, because otherwise it's going to make you cry. And then at some point in tonight's show, we have to talk about what almost transpired at the Poland-Ukrainian border.
And still may, if you haven't been following today.
Yeah, I think, well, we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
I think it's a moot point now.
I hope it is. I pray it's a moot point.
I think it's done.
Can you spell moot?
M-O-O-T.
Hooked on phonics works for me.
Yeah. All right. Everybody have a good week. Anybody else want to chime with anything they did? Anybody?
All right. Good job.
I'm trying to get this to 7:28 break is what I'm trying to do.
It worked.
Black Ring.
Well, actually, we have a minute. And
can we take the break a few minutes early?
Don't feel bad, Tom.
Well, we
I believe
can.
Dennis's headphones
It's up to
never
you.
work.
I don't want
we have 1 minute.
1 minute. All right. Thanks for checking out the show. Be sure to tell your friends, share it if you love the show. Make sure you tell somebody. If you don't like it, we were never here. Stick around. Outlaw Radio Network. We're back after this on Megatalk.
This is going to be a long bump. I hope you all enjoy
Why
it.
a long bump? Just go to break. Just take a break.
Just take it. Just take it.
Yeah, just take a break, man. What are you waiting for?
Fine.
The advertisers are anxious. Share the word.
Make the money.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network.
All right, Facebook.
Hey, we're on Facebook. Yay!
KJ, you can add your headphones now. And yeah, there you go.
Hey, I got a question.
And you want to get up close to that microphone. Okay. Don't be afraid to have it right in front of your face.
Okay. Dennis likes to say, grab it like you want it.
What should we do? Oh, I had a challenge for... Oh, I had to get it. No, Heidi needs to come be in studio. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Heidi needs to come be in studio. She said she would when things settle down. Well, the Tenino Wildcat, whatever their name is, football team, and they're out, and so you have time. What should we do on Sunday's show? I feel like we've spent so much time talking politics the last 5 months. What should we do on Sunday's show?
Well, let me preface it by saying this. There's a slim chance that I may not make it. Let me preface why. So, for those that don't know, my wife rescued some horses that were on their way to slaughter. And she's been, all three of them were completely wild, hadn't been touched. Let me rephrase that. They were wild, but they were, like there was some trauma involved because they were older horses, like 4, 5, 6 years old.
Okay.
So they were older horses and there was some trauma going on from them. So they were worse than wild horses. They had issues with people.
Yeah.
So, my wife, who...
So they were Dennis. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So my wife, when we moved into our new house, the company she worked for got sold. So she found herself unemployed with 3 effectively wild horses. Okay. And so she said, well, I'm going to put my time to good use. Because she was working 7 days a week, 12 to 16-hour days for 6 months. And she was like, I'm going to take some time for myself. I'm going to work with these horses and train them. She grew up with them. Her mom was a professional trainer for a while. And so she's been putting her heart and soul into training these horses so that she can either keep them for our family or find them good homes.
Okay.
Well, so it turns out this weekend on Saturday and Sunday, there is a, generally speaking, a really, really high caliber horse trainer that's going to be in Yelm, which isn't too far from us. It's about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And so she's like, look, I would really like to go to this class for the weekend. And the whole goal at the end of this class is, she says, you can take basically a brand new horse that doesn't really know anything, and by the end of the weekend, you'll be riding that horse. Now these are really risky, right?
Okay.
And my wife, as I told everybody a year and a half ago, had a traumatic brain injury. Mm-hmm. And I told her, I said, I don't really feel good about you going to take this class and then getting up on a horse that was wild 3 months ago, right? Because if you get thrown, you could end up with another significant head injury, and that would be bad. I wouldn't be able to afford the bills, and I need you to generate money. So
such a good.
There's nothing like keeping it real.
Where's my money?
My schnizzle.
Where's my money, bitch?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So anyway, she says, well, okay, good, because I signed you up too, and you're coming with me, and you're going to be the one that gets on her.
All right, perfect.
I was like, well, I'm 50. You sure you want me to get on a horse that was wild 3 months ago? She's like, well, I'm like, because your head injury, right? Yeah. And she's like, yeah. I don't want to hurt my head any worse. So
1 minute.
I said, let me get one thing straight. Is our health insurance up to date? And have you paid my life insurance? Because I saw this very horse just last week was like a was a bronc.
Yeah.
She went nuts when we put a saddle on her for the first time, and then took off, ran out of the yard, jumped our gate, ran half mile down the road where I finally caught up to her.
Did you start with just a...
Your mic's not on.
Oh yeah, she's wearing a blanket tonight.
You told a very long story that you could have said in 30 seconds. I may not be here Sunday because I'm going to this horse.
I may get thrown off the horse,
but I'll let you know.
I
That's all I had to say.
I might get thrown off the horse.
I didn't need a 15-minute dissertation about the horses, man.
You needed to understand
My God.
what I was going to be going
Jesus.
through.
God,
15 seconds.
You know, I listen. I
being
could pull,
with you is like being
listen,
married.
Listen,
it's like having a wife.
10 seconds.
How was your day, honey?
Hold on. Hey, so,
I'm glad I have power.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network.
All right, Outlaw Radio. K-Dog, Black Tom, DT, DJD, and Christopher Reeves over here.
it could be on Sunday. Now Dennis gets it. He's like, "Oh, I wish I'd cut him off."
I was out here working, so I wasn't paying attention earlier.
You were working?
Yeah, I was pushing buttons, seeing what they did.
All right, Dennis. Again, I'm going to have you introduce our guest because you are responsible for the booking. You get all the problems. This is
great.
This is a really good interview that you set up, Dennis.
We have representing P.ink, which stands for Personal Ink, our Washington representative right here. Her name is KJ. Currently working, I believe, out of a shop in Silverdale. Yes.
Oh, which one?
Bleeding Black Tattoo.
Okay.
In Old Town Silverdale.
And we also have a recipient from this year, my sister Barbara Wilson, and her air name is Barbara Wilson.
Wow.
Some fitting music.
Thank you. I like that. That's good.
Appreciate it. Good music.
Play all the journey you want, man.
Yeah, until YouTube gets excited.
I know. Screw YouTube. All right. KJ, how are you? Hold on, your mic's not on. Dennis, is there a mic on?
It is.
No, hold on.
It's on. It's the mixer again.
You know, that mixer was fine till Tom touched it Sunday night.
KJ, say hello.
Say hello.
Hold on. Keep talking.
Okay. How you doing?
I don't.
Good
Keep talking.
Mine's off too.
Everybody's is off.
Yeah, that was that happened.
Check the plug on top of hers, on top of KJ's mic.
No, Debbie's is out too.
Okay, there's an.
Because you turn us all off.
Okay, hold on. I'm coming in.
To see, this is.
Yeah, everything was fine. Brandy was sitting right here. All of a sudden, Tom comes in, comes around, starts going, "Oh, whose mic am I adjusting?" And then all of a sudden, no, you've touched
my headphones.
And then the next, I told him not to wear those. Those belong to.
Do you have anything?
Yeah, it's very loud. Yeah. Hold on, talk some more.
Wow.
Anything? Anyone?
Hold on, keep talking.
Okay.
Nope, nobody's home.
All right, go ahead. Now that worked. No, that one worked. Yeah. KJ, talk.
Hello, hi.
Hold on, keep talking. Count to 10.
10. Like from 10 or from 9?
There it is.
8?
There you go.
You want me to go 1, 2, 3?
There you go.
Perfect.
All right.
Which direction do I have to
Imagine
go?
that. Dennis missed it by one dial.
KJ, how are you?
Good morning. Thank you.
One of them is the master output.
Yeah, our mic sounds really weird again, though.
So you have to turn some of those down that you were turning up.
Turning them down now.
There we go.
Hold on. KJ,
there you go.
Say hello, KJ.
There's so many buttons.
There we go. Perfect.
Keep talking.
Keep talking.
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
Sing journey. No,
you know, this is what a marriage is like.
Yeah.
You got one person just keeps spinning the other's buttons and touching them here and there. And
just hope for the best in the end.
Well, I was going to say, and just hoping to see what happens is something that they like. But
Dennis, kill the 44 break. Like literally. Just
Yeah, we always do.
We haven't even started the interview. And Paul's already talking about inappropriate things.
Do not start with that type of rhetoric.
Oh, y'all missed ours.
Yes, we did miss.
All the women in the
Yes,
room were
we
turned
missed it.
off.
Yes, we missed it.
Kevin's like, let me do it
They
again.
did that on
No, I'm
purpose.
trying to fix the microphones now. I don't know whose is where.
As Debbie pointed out, they're just a bunch of turned off women. So
KJ, how's your night?
It's so far, so good.
Yeah,
I
all right.
had 2 shots of whiskey out there.
The good whiskey or Tom's?
Oh,
I'm kidding, Tom. I'm kidding. I totally love you.
I had the
30-day ban.
The Joe one.
Toasted Joe.
The Toasted Joe?
That was delicious.
It is,
So
right?
KJ, talk
really
right
liked
up on that microphone.
I really liked that.
Much
Perfect.
better, thank you.
I think that's the one that's going to make Tom famous myself. But what
Oh yeah, when I was buying my Star Wars stuff, the people in there were talking about your Toasted Joe too.
Don't shortchange the bourbon.
So
The bourbon is amazing.
you saw the not advertisement on Brandy's podcast Monday morning.
God, we're never going to hear the end of this now.
So busy today. Today's my Monday. I can't believe
Hold
how
on.
busy it was.
Hold
And
on.
everyone
Hold
came
on,
in
wait.
saying, hey,
Yahoos, we have a guest in studio. Can we talk about our
yes,
Can we
let's
talk-
carry
we
on.
can- we-
You
we have
guys
a
brought it
segment-
up.
We have a segment every single night about your alcohol establishment downstairs. We can focus on a really cool guest for a little bit, and then we'll come back and talk about your alcohol and your dreams about Brandy Cruz endorsing your product. We can do that later. Jesus.
Well, it helps
God.
that the guest endorsed his alcohol too. So.
Did you, KJ? Did you like his alcohol?
I did.
Yeah, was it good?
It was delicious.
It was-
I
hold
will,
on,
I
you're
will, have,
still
I will have more.
Really quiet.
Bring her mic up a little.
I don't know what number. What number is hers?
I'm number 1, bro.
She should be number
There you
one.
go. Good answer.
Number 1 to the left or number 1 to the right?
Number 1 to the left.
Okay, KJ, say hello.
The one all the way
Hello.
to the right is the master.
The master.
outfit.
All right. Go ahead, KJ.
Hello.
Oh, look at
There
that.
we go.
I am a trained professional. Don't try this at home. All right.
Really, do not try that at home.
Now his
KJ.
ear holes are
Kevin and I
broken.
have both worked for this station when it was literally duct taped together. So.
Right?
I remember doing
We've-
shows when there was no glass there.
Exactly.
We've stepped up from duct tape to zip ties.
Yeah. Hey, we're
I installed those zip ties myself.
KJ.
Yes.
Let's talk about P.ink.
Okay.
Before we get into anything, will you give us an overview of what? Because Dennis did a half-assed job earlier, but I want you to explain to us what you guys do and why.
Okay. So we're a 100% volunteer-based organization, and we introduce breast cancer survivors with tattoo artists to cover their scars, whatever they want. We just do it. We close down multiple shops across the United States and in other countries, and do a whole day pampering survivors and tattooing whatever they want, giving them back their claims to their bodies. And I joined the organization in 2016, but we've been around since 2013.
Really?
Yeah, we started out of Colorado, and it was originally started with survivors, and now we have a couple members, board members that are tattoo artists, and then we have a sister organization, the FUCK, just like that, cancer, is our sister organization, and yeah, we've been kicking butt and doing things.
So do you operate on this side of the sound, or are you in Seattle, or both, or do you kind of go wherever? Or how does that?
I'm just the Washington State lead
Okay.
for our bigger organization. Each state has like a different person that kind of organizes it all. I've held events all the way from Seattle, Tacoma, and Bremerton area to having everybody meet in one location and have a big, massive like tattoo convention style situation with 13 artists from, several different shops, 13 survivors from all over the place, all meet in one location and have a whole day of just fun tattoosies and fun songs and,
I imagine
tattoo
it.
magic.
I imagine it has to be a very emotional experience for those women to, as you
artists
said,
too.
reclaim their bodies and
Yeah.
not look at themselves in the mirror and see the scar, but see some kind of artwork or beauty that's created from that.
So the way I understand it, and I tattoo a lot of survivors, I'm a medical tattoo artist as well, is how I understand it is when you get cancer, you're told what to do. The doctors are bossing you around. You got to do this. You got to do that. This is what's going to happen. This is how you're going to live. This is how we're going to, you know what I mean? Like get you on the other side of this. Once it's all over, then what? You're left with all these scars. You're left with all this stuff. Well, as tattooers, that's what we do. We decorate bodies. That's what we've been doing since the beginning of time, accenting the body. You know what I mean? Designing shapes and designs that accent the body's natural structure. You know what I mean? And we can create rounditures with designs. You know what I mean? We can create movement out of a still picture on bodies. And so being able to do that and give them back just, that glimpse. And I can't tell you how many women I've tattooed. They're like, I just want to walk around with no shirt on all the time now. You know what I mean? Where before their husbands hadn't seen their breasts since their cancer, and they're now on the other side of that, you know what I mean? And just reclaiming themselves, and what better way to give back with our talents,
On the surface, it's hard, I think, for a lot of us to really feel that. But I can tell you the way you're implying how the folks feel, it means a lot. I mean, I feel like I could just feel the tip of the iceberg as far as what it must mean to them. How do women get involved with the program?
So we have open application. We do it once a year. We open up the application section of our website, and you just sign up for whatever state's closest to you. If they don't have a representation in your state specifically, if you're willing to travel, you know what I mean, have family. Say like we had a gal this year that was in Canada but has family locally. And so she signed up for Washington and was able to get in our our event this year.
And you serve a limited number each year, or do you try to serve as many as you can, just depending upon how much space you have?
So it depends. COVID knocked us out, and so one year we didn't get to do it at all. And then the next year after that, you know what I mean? Obviously last year we were very small. This year we were able to open it up a little bit more.
Nice.
The most that we've done in one day with our event is 12. And that was the first year that I met you.
Yeah.
But you weren't a participant yet.
No,
You were.
I wasn't.
She brought us mimosas.
Yeah. I brought you a bunch of bottles of rum.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah,
I knew it was alcohol of
bottles
some
of
sort.
rum because I wasn't eligible yet because I was just going through all my reconstructive
That's right.
surgeries.
So she came and volunteered. Okay. So we'll have volunteers, and we have a couple of women that have like come and volunteered before and just held hands or brought donuts or you know what I mean, that kind of stuff. Come in and just help, and that was how we first met. And then this year we finally got to get her in.
Yeah,
nice.
It was amazing.
Can you talk about the experience for you? What it meant for you personally to have gone through that? And hold on, will you give your first name? And
my name's Barbara.
You're somehow related to Dennis, I believe.
Yes, I am his sister.
And you admit that openly in public. We congratulate you. Thank you.
Yes.
And so, Barbara, you were diagnosed with breast cancer when?
In 2018.
In 2018. Yeah. And so you didn't have the surgery, or you didn't have the tattoo until this year?
Yeah.
So you had 3.5, 4 years of kind of a daily reminder, kind of looking back at you?
Yeah. And, my scars they're ugly, just ugly. And that's all you see when the first thing I see when I get out of the shower is my body.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because there's the mirror, and so, and it's devastating when you look at yourself. And then, I've had some people have said some pretty horrible things. And so I had to deal with that too. So the tattoos have really made me feel beautiful again. They took all of my womanhood away, I feel like. And then this is kind of giving some of that back.
Oh, I gotcha. Like that commercial we see by Kathy Lee Gifford, right? Her Va Va Voom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm getting you. I feel where you're coming from. I'm curious I have one small tattoo on my body, so I couldn't tell you anything about tattoos.
And it probably hurt really bad.
No, I mean, but it didn't really hurt at all, but I'm a guy that doesn't like needles. More? It's the only reason I got this one is because my son got one and he's in the Army. And so we literally got the same tattoo. Oh. So it was, most people that get tattoos, right? There's a story and it's something very personal, but we talking about scar tissue, right? Does it take the ink and hold it the same way as regular skin?
No.
Okay. So would you have to do something different?
Is it better or worse for that tattoo process?
So it really honestly depends on how the scar was made. If it was a surgery, if it was a burn, if it was stretch marks, you know what I mean? There's self-harms, you know what I mean? There's all kinds of ways to gain a scar, right? So it really depends on how the scar was made and how old the scar is. That really changes that, tattooing on scar tissue is never fun because it's so easy to like blow the lines out where it looks blurry, because that skin's been damaged.
So it's harder than normal.
It's very much harder than normal. Yes, absolutely.
I got you.
And so when I do pick the artists that participate in our events, they're handpicked artists. They're, we get people every year that apply, and not all of them get picked to be tattooers for the event, because I want to make sure that whoever is participating in this is not making these women feel worse with bad tattoo. Right. So I make sure that I pick top-notch tattooers that have been doing it for a long time and do know the difference, but and working with scars and stuff.
And then there's no cost passed along, right?
There's no money passed along at all.
So you guys rely on donations and stuff. And
so the donations that we get are for like cash donations and stuff we use towards buying all the participants and artists for the day lunch. So no one's going anywhere, right? So we usually get it catered, so the monies that we get donated goes back to just allowing us to feed everybody, have some coffee, you know what I mean? Some snacks throughout the day, you know what I mean? Which this year our snack bar this year was on point. I ain't even lying. We've been kicking it up, we've been taking it up a notch, but that's what our donations are for but we don't usually, and then goodie bags, like if people like local businesses, you know what I mean? We got a couple of coffee donations and different things like that we were able to put in our goodie bags. We make goodie bags for the participants, and then I make goodie bags for the artists because they're donating their day and their supplies and, stuff like that. So
and I'm trying to be sensitive as I ask this question because I'm not sure it's the right question.
And that's not normally Kevin.
Shut up, Paul. Shut up. I hate you. Men can suffer from breast cancer as well. And I think that's a misnomer that a lot of people don't think about. Do you guys do tattoos on men that have been through the process as well? Or is this?
So I haven't yet through the personal ink program. However, because I do medical tattooing and tattoo a lot of breast cancer survivors, I have tattooed a handful of men, and they usually just want a nipple back.
Mm-hmm.
They want their shirt off. They want to look normal. They just want a nipple. You know what I mean? So they can just feel like they have their some manhood. But I will say that the men that I've tattooed are more scarred sometimes than the women. And I think it's because the doctors are like, it's just a dude. Who cares? And they're really just, one guy straight looks like he got eaten up by a shark that I worked on. And, but we did some beautiful tattoos. He loves the way it turned out, but yeah, it's not through the personal ink program, but definitely like on my own side gig stuff.
When so it never even occurred to me that someone would want a tattoo of a nipple to kind of replace what is gone.
It's
like
the target.
Yeah. No. But so you're.
Let me sit back here so you can make direct eye contact with Kevin.
We call it areola restoration.
Areola. So is
you know what that means?
Yeah,
just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm going to punch you in your face in just a second here.
You can tell we're close friends. It's okay.
Could you tattoo and make him attractive? Could you tattoo his face, make him attractive? No, listen. So what do you do in tattoos then? Is it mostly the areola restoration? Are some people asking for actual artwork tattoos out of that? Is there color? I guess I'm just curious how extensive can these be to serve the purpose of covering
I can do
those
whatever
scars?
you want.
Okay.
There's
if you look at the Facebook page for the Greater Seattle area, there's a lot of pictures.
Yeah. Okay. There's pictures, and they've like women that have lost both breasts have like beautiful flower artwork across their chest, and just the way that the flowers are shaped, it kind of gives a feminine shape to the body. Mm-hmm. So you can stay there without your shirt on. There are no nipples anymore. It's a flat chest, but it's still beautiful to look at their body again.
That's really badass. Frankly.
Yeah. And anything I've done 6 shooters today. I did a dragon and a phoenix on a pair of breasts.
Wow.
Breastises.
Are you?
She should do our logo.
Are you nervous about saying that on the radio?
I don't know what the rules are.
What do you think, Kevin? Look at
that. Tattoo our logo on someone's boobs.
No. I was telling him we should go get our logo tattooed for the radio show.
I can bring my stuff down. We'll just do it here. It'll be fun.
No.
Do it live on air?
Yeah.
Hell no.
That would be great.
Someone bring
all of her stuff is battery operated.
Come on, Paul.
She looks to start her own nonprofit on a bus.
Yeah.
I got
this.
If you'll do my memorial
That's
tattoo
awesome.
for my late partner, I'll bring you whiskey.
All right.
I just thought
I got this done. You can
no. We just get it on our left shoulder.
He pointed to his butt, by the way.
Who did? Kevin did?
No, Paul did.
Oh heck no! I did not. No.
Because a whole new meaning to the phrase "signing my honey," Paul.
Yeah, it would. I would be down with getting our logo tattooed on the shoulder, Kevin.
All right. Jojo, are you in? Would you get the logo tattooed?
You're being awfully quiet over there.
Yeah.
It's a short subject.
No.
How do Dennis mentioned the Facebook page earlier? How do people follow you guys? How can they make donations if they want to donate? How do they?
So you can go directly to our website, and it's p-ink.org. And you can go on there and you can donate through the website, and then you can also sign up for the emails. So then that way you can get in on the applications.
How many applications do you get, like, just from this area?
So when we first started, it seemed like there was a lot, but there'd been nobody in this area forever. So when I first started, I felt like we were so bombarded. Now I feel like we get 20 or under in our area. And then through my personal stuff, I find other people that are in the area too, and do that as well.
Okay. And, I hope nobody gets mad at me for this, but you have your own personal, you work at a tattoo parlor then?
I do. I work at a tattoo shop called Bleeding Black in
Okay,
Silverdale.
give yourselves a plug for that.
Bleeding Black Tattoo in Silverdale. The end.
Where are you at? Where are you located at?
I was hoping
Old Town Silverdale.
Old Town Silverdale. And then you can follow me personally on Instagram. It's at Tattoos by KJ. And then reach me out that way. And I'll throw out twice a year usually to send me a story of a friend that that has breast cancer, and then I will do that person's for free, and we'll share the story and
that's all
that's
beautiful.
That fun stuff.
Also, Barb, you want to shout out the name of your artist that
Terry.
is handling you and her shop over in Seattle?
Yes, my artist was Terry Hayner, and well, she's still my artist because we're still doing
for
work.
life.
Yeah, and she's at
Madame Lazonga's Tattoo.
And put that right up to your mouth so we can hear you. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Madame Lazonga's in Seattle.
She's in Pike's Place Market. And she works for Vivine Lazonga, who is actually a pioneer for Seattle women tattooing. And really started working with plastic surgeons with another gal, Susan Church, and really meeting plastic surgeons and tattoo artists together to really start doing a lot of these, like the areola restoration and doing these tattoos and helping these breast cancer survivors, which is really cool. But Vivine's shop's been there since 1973. She's the oldest shop up here.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
Terry comes out of a very fantastic shop.
Will you keep us in mind as you do events, as you do fundraisers? If you do anything like that, will you let us know? We'd love to help promote it or
can I say it?
Say what?
Keep us abreast.
This guy.
Oh my
God. He's so punny.
Oh my God.
He's so punny.
That was good.
I'm a funny guy.
I do have a question. So I know a few tattoo artists. When you're looking for artists, are you looking for just women because this is very much breast cancer focused, or are you okay with guys coming in as artists as well?
Oh, we have several male artists.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems I would think most women would want a female artist working with them, but I wasn't.
I mean, honestly, like I when I get the applicants, I look and see what it is that people are asking for. And then I go through my Rolodex of who I have to tattoo in those styles. You know what I mean? So what I would be super good at, and this person's asking for, I'm going to then send them off to Terry, or I'm going to send them off to Nick Flores, or any one of the other artists that participates in our events. You know what I mean? Because what they're asking for is better suited done by this person because they specialize in that. So
absolutely.
I think at the end of the day, the women don't care as long as they're coming out of it with the best tattoo, whether it's a man or a woman.
Okay. I
you can ask her because she had to hold her shirt off for.
Look, I walked all day with my boobies hanging out.
Talk right in the mic.
With the boobies hanging out.
Sure.
And here's the thing. I look at mine. It's they're not my boobs. It's my stomach. They took my stomach and so
they moved it up.
Yeah, I don't care who sees it.
Yeah, well, I just
so yeah.
I know that there's going to be a level of comfort for every person who goes in to get tattooed, and I just wasn't sure if they had any organizational rules as far as just lady artists for not I don't know, because I know a couple people that might really fit your organization well.
Awesome, yeah. Just get them in contact with me, and we can totally go from there.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you have a lot of support from the tattoo community in this and people that step up to volunteer. Is that accurate?
Yes and no. Yes, because there's a lot of really passionate tattooers out there, right? I mean, absolutely. There's a lot of tattooers that want to give back. And then there's other ones that are just like, I don't know about handling this woman's boob that long. You know what I mean? Like
right.
they're a little, it's their comfort level as well, so I think that yes and no, you know what I mean? But I don't think that they shun us or they like look down at us for those of us that are doing it, by no means.
KJ, sorry, Paul, go ahead.
No, that was me. That was me. She told me a story earlier about a plan that she has, so I wanted her to get that story out before we go because it may be a good one to follow up with her on. She just purchased a bus.
I did. I just bought a little short school bus because I want to build a mastectomy
A short bus, perfect for Trojo. Okay, go ahead.
No, it's perfect for me, man. But it's a short bus, and I want to make a mastectomy bus out of it. And so now that I have the bus, I'm like, okay, I have to legitimately become a nonprofit. So I got to figure that stuff out. But I want to make a bus that I can pull up to survivors' houses and tattoo them there. So they
Wow.
don't have to come into the abrasiveness of a tattoo shop necessarily and have the walk-in traffic or, you know what I mean, the interruptions and stuff.
Gives a whole new level of privacy.
Right, and we're at their
doesn't it?
house. You know, if they have to go to handle their business or go potty or whatever, they can go in their own house. You know what I mean? Like they can bring their own pillow from their home into the into my little space. And so I just bought a bus, and I'm really looking forward to figuring out how to dial it up and make it all safe for
And
us
I
to
would
get to
assume
people's places.
that some women, after they've undergone the surgery, are not as comfortable going out in public, or there's some
until we give them their confidence back for sure.
There's probably some they call it body dysmorphia, which is, I don't mean that in a negative way, but there's some body images that come after that, right, Barb?
Oh yeah. Right after my surgery, right after they removed my breasts, I walked like this.
For those of you in radio, she's kind of hunched over,
very
kind of
hunched
hiding
over.
it.
Yeah. And they would tell me your back hurts because you're hunching. I'm like, well, give me my boobs back then.
It's like they're a counterweight.
Yeah. Because you're very Yeah,
it's something that your eyes will always be drawn to because you've been through it, and you'll probably see things, and I would assume other women or even men or people that have been through this are going to see things that the average person may not notice, but you're going to notice it more because you're aware of what you've been through. And
I see everything. I see it through my clothes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. So it's P.ink. And then KJ, where do you work again? What's the name of your shop in Silverdale?
Bleeding Black Tattoo in Old Town Silverdale.
Old Town. What part of Old Town?
The only Old Town in Silverdale.
Okay. All right,
that was a stand of Paul getting smacked.
Yeah, sort of. Except there's like 4 streets there in Old Town. Like what? Where in Old Town?
Right down from the brewery there, the hub is but it's just right there. There's a park across the street.
Okay, so the waterfront park,
right from the water.
Okay,
yeah, right
gotcha.
She's not.
There's a gynecologist there. There's an automotive shop. There's a
I'm
restaurant.
I'm from Long Beach.
There's fish and chips.
So
What?
I know how to get there.
Oh, you're by the fish and chips place, Kettlefish.
Oh yeah, Caddy Corner.
Yeah. Okay.
I can hear their music.
Whoa! When did Fish and Chips move into downtown Silverdale?
You
Because
probably
they're
should
Caddy Corner from us.
get out of your house more often.
I probably should. I should leave the distillery.
It's right across the street from farmland.
All right, we got to kill this. We got to kill
All
this break. We got to kill
Nice
this segment.
meeting you guys. Thank
KJ,
you
thank you so much for coming in. Check it out online. P-ink.com. .org. Excuse me. Follow your information, make your donations, help the cause, and support the artists that support the cause.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to top of the hour. Stick around. More after this on Outlaw Radio.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network.
All right, Outlaw Radio back on Facebook only. Dennis, we need to get a PSA for them running too.
I think we do too.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But I think it should be one of them that do it. I think it's more impactful coming from them.
I will.
Debbie's been doing this for a year and still doesn't realize that we're live on air.
If you and I come up with a script, I will talk to our lovely guest and see if we could get her to.
I didn't do it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll put a script together and have them come in and cut
a script together, and you can come in and read it for us.
And we'll do
a PSA for you.
Yeah,
PSA, yeah.
I can totally do
Okay,
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
Since we text each other pretty frequently now.
So. Fair enough.
And if you guys do any events, like fundraising events or whatever, I can't speak for the whole crew, but I think some of us would love to come down and broadcast live and talk.
Dude, that would be so cool.
Talk to some of the artists and talk to some of the women and really help, kind of promote and spread the word about the event. So please keep us in mind. Yeah.
Because honestly, it's really such a neat thing. Like, I mean, I cry as much as the people that I'm tattooing cry. Honestly, it's such an emotional thing because when I tattoo, I'm giving them everything I have. You know what I mean? And they're asking me to give them everything I have.
Yeah.
And then at the end, they get to see it. You know what I mean?
It's gotta be emotional for them, right?
Oh yeah, I can cry about it just talking about it sometimes. Like, it's silly, but it's very empowering and just makes me feel good too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? To be like, because before I got into medical tattooing, if you had a cover up and you like. People come in all the time like, I haven't worn a tank top in 12 years because I hate this tattoo. Well, then let's fix that.
Yeah.
Let's cover it up. Let's fix it. Let's do whatever we got to do. Right. Like, that's not fair. None of us should look in the mirror and not be stoked. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
this is our body. This is our time with it. You know what I mean? Love it or leave it. Like you know what I mean? So if there's one thing that I can do, and that's to cover a scar or a birthmark or a tattoo that you don't like, you know what I mean? Then dang, let's do it. You know?
You didn't answer my question earlier. Can you tattoo Paul's face and make him look attractive? Is that too much work?
I mean, that's kind of not nice.
She can tattoo hair
Hold
back
on.
on your head.
I can. I do hair simulation.
Can you do hair simulation?
I do,
That'd be
yeah.
great.
Guess what other kinds of simulations she'll do?
Hey, listen,
She
here, I
said
charge extra.
she said that for my
The
memorial
handling fee.
tattoo, she would mix his ashes into the tattoo.
Oh, that's
Yeah, we
that's
can- yeah.
curious. Wow.
I have
okay,
several tattoos
didn't
with ashes
know you
in
could
them.
do
My
that.
dog and my friends and my dad.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
I didn't either. That's pretty cool stuff.
I'm gonna go get his ashes mixed into his lightsaber.
Winning.
Oh, you're gonna do a lightsaber. That's fitting. Yeah, that's fitting.
Great.
Darth Maul's lightsaber.
Oh, that's fitting for Goat.
Not
yeah.
Darth
Off
Maul.
of Darth
Darth.
Vader's
Great,
illegitimate
the
daughter.
dark side.
The
Great.
Dark Maul, like coming.
He came in second place at the Emerald City Comic Con cosplay contest as Darth Maul.
Did
Oh,
he?
that's
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
All right, KJ, we appreciate you.
Thanks
We
for
really
having
Absolutely.
me in, guys.
And I
It was fun.
we say this on the show a lot. It's really cool when people get involved and active in the communities rather than sitting at home and I'm on Facebook. I can say this, is bitching about the stuff that they don't fix. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
And you're out there
by the
doing
way,
something.
Thank you.
what was your sister company again? Since we can say it now.
Fuck cancer.
There we go.
Fuck cancer. Him.
I was like, well, what's the rules?
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
did
she
I
asked me.
say?
She cleared it ahead of time. I said maybe just spell it out.
But yeah, that's our sister company. And,
because the two gentlemen to your right love nothing more than seeing the look of panic and distress on my face when someone slips and cusses on the mic.
I mean, if you can see it from this angle, though, you would understand why.
Oh yeah, great!
Wow.
This is the good. I can just see the fumes like filling that whole
I bet.
space
I
over there.
will tell you right now. You said "fuck cancer." Dennis was going "fuck you." That's exactly how that went down.
That's okay. It's not the first time.
She can come back anytime.
All right.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime. Yeah, let us know when you got. So I have ideas in my head. I'm rattling around about ways we can help with a live broadcast.
That
And
would be so cool.
People we could try to drag down there. I'm thinking of somebody who's in studio.
We did
Sunday.
it. We did a live broadcast while one of the members of our crew was having his legs waxed.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh, hell yeah!
It was funny.
Yeah, especially when his legs started oozing blood. You know, that was
That's so
yeah. Oh no, it was funny.
It was funny.
Who waxed them?
We waxed
Wasn't
it.
it was a girl that he was dating was there. His roommate was. It wasn't a professional. This was
No, this was all amateurs waxing him
Oh great!
I thought we had a. I thought
That's
there
how
was
you
a
know it's gonna
professional
turn
in a
out
bar.
Yeah.
And we were broadcasting live, and all you could hear was that. Well, that
Whimpering.
feminine scream.
whimpering and
Squeals.
crying.
Oh, Kelly Clarkson.
That feminine scream that can only come from a man in
Yep.
great
Yeah.
pain and duress.
Yep.
Oh, it was fun.
Oh, it was
Oh,
great.
it was fun. It
I
was
have
fun.
All right,
scars
coming
from
back.
We're
waxing.
coming back. Thank you, KJ.
Thank you so much, you
Have
guys.
a good night.
Cheers.
Thanks for everything
Appreciate
you're
Be
doing.
safe.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States
the office of President of the United States
4 years ago. You guys wouldn't believe the looks I'm getting right now.
From who? Who's giving you looks? Nobody gets to give you looks.
Kevin.
January 20th, 2017 will be remembered as the day the people became the rulers of this nation again. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. We are not merely transferring power from one administration to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people.
Anti-Trump protesters turned destructive and violent. More than 200 people were arrested and at least 6 police officers were injured.
Protesters dressed in black, some wearing masks, moved through downtown streets, setting fires, smashing storefront windows, some fighting with police. Officers dressed in riot gear responded with pepper spray and stun grenades. It is our duty to fight for our freedom!
This is the Outlaw Radio Network.
Together.
I'm suddenly having PTSD flashbacks.
Yeah, I felt that was fitting since he announced he's running for election again.
Very much fitting.
Why not play the stuff that took place on the day that he was sworn into office?
I know that Paul. Oh, sorry, Paul. Go ahead.
No, you started first.
I was going to say I know that you have a topic, but I feel like we have to touch on the elephant.
We
in
can
the
touch.
room, which is
You should be careful how you touch
inappropriate touching.
Yeah, I saw.
They remember that stuff.
I will tell you, and I hate to wrap this into this topic, but one of the most effectual kind of memes that I ever saw about the trans movement was this guy said, "You can cut the balls off of a bull, but I dare you to try and milk him." And and just let that sink in. And his point was, basically about, you can go through surgery, but you're still a man kind of thing. But anyway, no, look, it was appropriate to play out. You did a great job on that, Dennis. But can I quote you? Sure. It was way too long.
I learned from a Madden, and it wasn't John.
It was, yeah. No, you said that to me so many times. I just wanted to return the favor.
Well, it was. I just wanted to keep continuity.
But it was still good.
If you want to learn how to make a shorter intro, ask Trojo. He'll teach you.
Oh, Lord. Trojo. Give me a second.
This guy.
Give me just one short moment, and I'll apologize on Kevin's behalf. All right.
I'm sitting in the wrong chair because, look, I'm as tall as you guys now. Trojo, you want to switch?
Leave it alone. Leave it alone. So he did.
Only because I'm shorter.
Clearly, y'all have missed me because from the moment I've walked in through that door, it has been a short joke barrage.
Now, listen.
Before you got here,
listen.
It's okay.
Everything's fine.
It's
just
okay.
whatever you do, don't do a review of this show.
Hey,
all right.
We are the Lollipop Guild.
The Lollipop Guild.
Okay, listen. So here's the deal. I'm not a Trumper by any stretch. At all. By the time his 4-year term was done, I was ready. It was like being almost in an abusive relationship or marriage, right? There just comes a point where you're ready to be done. You're ready to be out.
How's that working out for you?
Well, hold on. Listen, let me finish my point.
Okay.
And I'm not excited for him to run again.
Correct.
From a perspective,
and I understand that.
But from a perspective that it's Trump and all the garbage that comes with him.
Right.
But listening to the news media crap all over themselves to quickly get out and bash Trump every chance they have.
Yeah.
In some demented, disturbed way makes me almost root for the guy. Like within minutes of them announcing, they made sure they mentioned numerous times the first president to be impeached twice, the election denier. I mean, every intro they gave for the guy had to be prefaced by some negative adjectives ahead of time.
Yeah,
which I hate to break it to anybody, but the questions about the validity of the elections are valid. Whether or not you want to go as far as denying the results, that's up to you. But I feel like having concerns about the election process is not unpatriotic and not irresponsible because, shocker, the Democrats had it when Trump won.
It goes all the way back to Gore.
Yeah.
So
it goes all the way back to the hanging Chad.
Yeah.
Poor Chad.
And
they should take him down.
Listen, Stacey Abrams still hasn't acknowledged that she lost that first election in Georgia 4 years ago. She still believes that was stolen.
Mm-hmm.
Hillary Clinton for 4 years said that Donald Trump was an illegitimate president. Republicans, mainly Trump, does not own this idea of having a problem with election results.
Mm-mm.
And it's so disingenuous of certain people in politics to suggest that he is and does. Now, having said that, I got several phone calls, one from somebody who was pretty pissed off when I explained, look, Trump does not get my vote. He has to earn it from scratch because he lost my respect because of not because of what happened January 6th. It's because of how long it took him to address it, because he sat there for 4 hours and didn't put a message out to the people that were ransacking the Capitol. That was my problem with him, and it always will be. So as a result of that, he lost my respect. He lost my vote, and like any other politician, he has to earn it back. I firmly believe that if nobody runs against him,
nobody noteworthy,
he will obliterate Joe Biden if Joe Biden is still running. The Democrats running. Listen, and Paul Ryan came out today and said any Republican running for president can beat Joe Biden, not named Donald Trump. Well, that's just dumb. That's dumb. It's hyperbole. It's nonsense. It's nonsense because if you listen, Trump has a record to run on. Hello.
Yeah, he does.
And his record demolishes what we've seen the last 2 years.
I have a concern.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I would have agreed before last Tuesday, but I don't believe so now.
Believe what? What is
that
it?
Trump would easily win over Biden. And,
Okay.
And here's why. Because we expected to see a tremendous giant red wave, and that didn't materialize.
I don't know who expected to see that. Maybe there were people telling
there
you
was a lot of Republicans nationally that thought that they would take control of the Senate and the House.
Every single midterm election from the party not in power?
But listen, if you look at the history of this country, midterm elections always tend to revolt against the party in power.
But they did.
And they didn't this time.
Yes, they did.
They did. Just
really.
The Republicans
not as
still.
big.
The Republicans control the Senate.
No, they don't control the Senate.
No.
They control the House.
The House.
We have the House.
And Democrats gained at least one seat in the Senate. So now they don't have to rely on Kamala Cackle-Laugh Harris's vote to be the tiebreaker. They've now gained seats in the House
one.
and in the Senate.
But the point is
maybe two.
They've lost control of one
of the
body.
Yes.
Of our 3-tiered system. Well, that means they only have actually. Let me rephrase that. They have half control.
Yeah,
of one,
of
and
Congress,
and clearly conservatives control the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
So it's truly 50-50 now. They all have to learn how to govern appropriately.
I just think Democrats did a really good job. And Brandy talked about Brandy Cruz, she was on the show on Sunday. Brandy talked about this.
Yes, and I pointed out to her where her thinking was wrong. It was incorrect.
But she
dared me too, by the way. For those that don't know, Kevin bet me $5. He goes, "No way you tell Brandy Cruz she doesn't know what she's talking about." I did it. Where's my $5?
So Brandy talked about how I'm about to sneeze. How
he welches bets, by the way.
I was getting back out of the way.
He welches bets, by the way, while he's sneezing. He welches bets.
Brandy talked about how, Democrats did two things really well, right? They couldn't run on the economy. They couldn't run on Biden. They couldn't run on Biden's record. They couldn't run on anything besides two things: motivating people to get out and vote because of the overturn of Roe v. Wade.
Emotion, yep.
And Trump and people's dislike for Trump. And so I think Republicans have a much better shot if it's DeSantis or if it's Rubio or if it's Noem or if it's anybody not named Trump. But I fear that if it's Trump, he is caustic enough to that middle 10 or 15% we keep talking about, Paul, that he will sway the independents back to Biden. And even if we have 2 more years of this craptastic economy.
That showed up through this last election. Yep. Every single Trump endorsed Republican lost.
No, that's not true.
I think one.
But they did. Okay, so let me rephrase that. Trump endorsed Republicans did much worse than the Republicans that were not endorsed.
Did anyone see how the news handled his announcement though?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Oh, yeah, we were just talking about it.
And like the newspapers that buried him to a little tagline where he wasn't even mentioned down in Florida.
And listen,
Florida man announces, makes an announcement. That was it. That was
ultimately, Trump still controls enough of the Republican Party that if he chooses to run, I firmly believe that, you got to remember, it doesn't matter what you think right now or what anybody thinks of him right now, because there's an election cycle. And that election cycle will determine how well he does. He's proven time and time again that he can get shot over and over and come back even stronger. Having said that, though, I'm a firm believer from everything that I've seen that DeSantis is probably the only Republican capable of beating Donald Trump. But I do not have any idea whether or not DeSantis will run. If DeSantis runs, I will support him over Trump. But if Trump comes out the nominee, I will then support him. And it's a very simple reason why. I have to set character and all the BS aside, and I have to look at the policies and what the policies have done.
At least you will admit that, and you will say that, because as soon as Trump made the announcement today at work, like it was going to be a big surprise that he was going to run. Everybody knew that he was going to make that announcement.
Everybody except Kevin, because when Brandy Cruz was in here, Kevin wasn't sure if Trump was going to announce or not.
But
No, I knew for sure he was going to. I was in listen, Paul, in radio, we do this thing where we invite conversation. Okay.
It's all good, Kevin.
It's all good.
But I will say this. The one
No, you're cutting off Jeremy. Let
I'm
him
sorry.
It's okay.
Georgia.
I
Georgia,
haven't.
go
It's
ahead.
okay.
I
It's
thought you were
okay.
done. I'm sorry, Georgia.
No,
Go ahead.
of course I wasn't. But no, but I turned to my workmates, and the first thing that was like, well, now that Donald Trump has announced, because they're big, what I like to call Trump thumpers. They love the man. I just turned to him and I was like, now that he's actually announced that he's going to run, are you going to blindly just vote for him? Or are you going to actually listen to the policies and see where the other candidates stand that may run?
So that's a great point for the primaries,
Mhm.
right? But I would submit to you, because again, that's absolutely the right approach, in my opinion. If he wins the primaries and comes out as the nominee, then you have to ask yourself, just as a person, and I'm not telling you to tell us what your thoughts would be, but you would have to ask yourself, was my business, did I make more money with him as president, or did I make more money with Joe Biden as president? Because generally speaking, the number one issue on everybody's mind all the time, every election cycle, except maybe 2001, or I'm sorry, 2002, after 9/11, is the economy. You know, where am I going to be with this guy as president?
So we've been talking about Trump.
He likes gold, you know. He's got gold everywhere in his house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he's
like
got a
gold
gold
plated.
toilet.
I like gold.
He likes golden showers,
Gold
apparently.
bidets,
That's not my thing.
That's
but,
what the
you know,
Russian prostitute
I won't
said.
kink shame. But no, my question is, do you think the Dems stick with Sleepy Joe?
Not if they want to win.
No.
They can't.
So
And
no,
unfortunately,
I agree they can't.
and-
Now, if they want to win,
And Kamala
but-
Harris has not endeared herself in
no
any
presence
way.
at all,
I
man.
agreed. So I don't know.
She's
so,
hosed. as a
So who do
candidate.
the Dems put up that they think can beat Trump?
Well,
Because I think they're
There's a few.
Okay, hold
I think
on.
they have a few choices.
I need to back up really quick. I wanted to say this before it got too far away.
That
from
was
you
the-
guys.
okay,
You guys,
yeah.
So we forget one thing. Don, and you kind of alluded to it earlier. Donald Trump is great at reinventing himself. He now has the opportunity to reinvent himself again. If he can stay on message and do what he did in the speech last night, where he was on a teleprompter, he was direct, he was on message, and he didn't go into his ramblings, he could resurrect himself as a different type of candidate. I think that would help.
A lot of people felt that he seemed bored over his speech, though. That he had no spirit to it, that there was no liveliness to it.
It's a great point, but he was reading from a teleprompter, right? And when he's not on the teleprompter and he's just going off the cuff, he's a different speaker.
Well, then
he's not a good orator. I don't know if you guys agree. I don't think.
But I mean, that's just what was brought up, and everyone's like, "Yeah, there was nobody there. There was no one big from the Republican Party."
That's because they're not supporting him, not openly right now. And what's interesting is if you look, his major donors have already told him, "Yeah, nope, we're not doing it. We're not supporting it." Now. I already have gotten a text message tonight. I'm back in the game. I've announced and I need your support. No, I'm not. You haven't earned my dollar.
Yeah.
And so I will find it interesting because, and here's part of the thing. If you're Donald Trump, this is how I perceive it. Donald Trump is not a uniter. We didn't need a uniter 6 years ago. We needed somebody to grab this country by the balls and make the economy work again. And that's what he was, like a drill sergeant that takes a young private in the army, right? You don't need to like him. You need him to make you into a soldier. That's what we needed 6 years ago. In my opinion, right now, we've got a world that's in crisis around us, and we need a uniter. To me, that is not Donald Trump. Not in any stretch of the imagination, which is why he doesn't have my support. He can earn it, but he doesn't have it right now.
Tom, you asked who the Democrats would be if it wasn't Biden.
Yeah,
because Brandy Cruz talked about it.
Yeah, well, I
Gavin
agree
Newsom.
with Paul that we do need a uniter, and I don't think Harris or Biden are it.
Right, and what Debbie just said. God help the Dems if they put Gavin Newsom up.
I don't think
he is not a uniter.
Correct. He's as bad on the left as Trump is on the right, as far as divisiveness, and he's divisive in a different way than Trump is. But I think he would turn a lot of people off. He'd create as much hatred on the other side of the bubble.
Yeah, no, I think if the Dems want someone, they're going to have to get someone really, really moderate. to appeal.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, but
I think
hold
you're
on,
right.
though.
They need another. They need another Obama.
Buttigieg.
Well,
Yeah.
another
Obama. Buttigieg.
Well, the Dems don't have another Obama.
No.
I mean, listen, Obama was
They don't for a good reason, right?
Obama
Kevin?
was a unicorn
because they've gone, and Obama was being prepped. I watched his speech at the Democratic National Convention in 2006, I think it was. We're not a red America or white America, we're a blue America or whatever it was. It was a brilliant, beautiful speech.
My balls are
and I looked at my ex-wife at the time when he was giving that speech. I said, that man's going to be a president one day. And this had nothing to do with his philosophies or his policy ideas, just simply that he was a great speaker. He spoke with passion, and he still does.
Yeah, he's a statesman.
So I don't want to. I've used the term statesman. I don't feel that he was a good statesman. Because he did what we passionately referred to as the Obama apology tour around the world, which I did not feel was appropriate at all. I took big offense to that. So I wouldn't call him a statesman.
See, I just think of a statesman as someone who is a performer. I don't have to agree with their policy. It's just someone who knows how to get up and not need a mouth diaper.
Yeah.
Like some
Like
presidents
Trump.
we've had. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they can go ahead and present something that the American people are going to digest without getting mad.
Yeah, fair point. And it's one of the reasons why I liked or do openly support a guy like DeSantis. I openly like Tulsi Gabbard. These are people that to me have shown incredible, Nikki Haley, incredible leadership skills in the face of overwhelming opposition. And when I see those kind of people out there running for office, and again, that's what I've seen from DeSantis, the way he reached out and took 60% of the Latina vote that had never voted Republican before in Florida is beyond impressive. That to me speaks as a uniter. That's what that says to me. Now, Trump certainly lost a few more points. Not that he had many left to lose, but he lost a few more points when he started picking shots at DeSantis. There's only one reason Trump started taking shots at DeSantis.
He's worried.
It's because he knows that DeSantis is a competitor. And that I'm just like, you know what? You dumb MFer. It's like, that's not what we need.
No, and it makes him no better than the people taking shots at him.
Correct. Agreed.
Well, hold on. No better. This is who Trump has been though the whole time, right? I mean, this is not new for Trump to.
Well, like you didn't, I mean,
to
listen,
volley shots at people.
But can we listen? There's one thing when he takes shots at people that kind of little Marco, low energy Jeb Bush, right? There were some shots that he took that were really kind of right on point.
Ron DeSanctimonious,
sleepy Joe Biden. But you look at Ron DeSanctimonious, like, what the hell are you talking about, dude? Like, it's not funny. And it doesn't apply. Yeah. So what was your point? That was a shot to take a shot.
Has Trump done anything since leaving office to better the nation at all? Like, has he focused just on himself and his own stuff, or has he worked with his oh my God, my brain just left me.
Well, I would tell you this. I don't expect a president that's no longer in office to do anything.
But no, he has his foundations and he has his things, and there's work that can be done, and he's always preaching that he's uniting people and working to help people get jobs. Did he do anything, or did he just soak up the limelight?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
I can answer this two ways. I'm going to sound like I'm sticking up for Trump, and maybe I kind of am. I'm sure he didn't do anything. But I'm sure he couldn't. For one, he was under constant legal barrage, right? And two, he's dirty pool right now. No formidable nonprofit is going to want to partner with him right now. He's just dirty from a public persona perspective. So if I'm going to pick a random nonprofit, you're the American Lung Society, and you want to do something with somebody, even if Trump volunteers to do something, he's probably persona non grata. Right? Because there's so much negative press to him. So I'll give him a little bit of credit in that respect. Jimmy Carter lost and then accepted he lost and then transitioned into full altruism mode, right? Donald Trump hasn't had a chance to transition because he's been constantly under attack since the day he left office, January 6th, and then, everybody else and their mother. I want to get back to the Democrat question. One name that got floated, Margie floated this in chat, is what about Michelle Obama? And
that's been toyed with.
It's been toyed with. We've heard it talked about before. She may be the only Democrat that people could see remotely being considered maybe a uniter.
Yeah, there's still one out there that toyed with the idea before.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
No.
If you smell.
No.
Okay,
no. Oprah.
No.
Oprah's.
I don't say no to you. I'm not saying no to you.
She's too shiny white. I mean, once the mud starts slinging, it's going to show up on her. There's plenty of things.
I think that's part of the problem with her, right? I mean, you're talking about somebody who created Dr. Oz, and then a week before the election came out and endorsed his opponent, a guy that couldn't complete a sentence. Like she's done some stuff. And you get her, and there's a vast segment of this country that cannot stand her because of her stance that she took against the beef industry, for example. So there's
where's the beef?
You know, I don't could she, but I don't see it. Right? There's no like her and Michelle Obama. I think that those are fun things to talk about and throw out. But these are two people. Listen, she's never been in the Michelle Obama and her have never been in the public sector and in the like that, right?
Well, but neither had Trump.
So.
And she had
really. I don't think that's true at all. I mean, he was an incredibly successful businessman.
So is Oprah.
Yeah. So is
Oprah.
Oprah.
Oprah started from the bottom, and she owns worldwide.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely, she does. What I'm saying though is that she hasn't like for years. Trump has toyed with politics. He's gotten into races and elections and gotten out when he didn't do as well as he wanted to, like 3 or 4 times. He's run for president like 3 times. So he's slowly been integrating himself into that process. I'm just saying that between Oprah and Michelle Obama, they haven't done that at all, right? So they would be jumping into the deep end, not knowing how to even begin to swim, right? Now, is it impossible? No, it's possible. They just got to hire and surround themselves with the right people.
I think if Michelle threw her hat in the ring, she would get it. There is enough people that is
the Democratic nomination.
I think there's enough people that just love her.
That is fair to say, because the one issue that I had with Obama was that he had the most powerful thing in the universe at his disposal, what I call devotion. These were people that supported him because he was the first African American president and because of what he represented, more so than his ideas and his policies. Now, I'm not saying all of his policies were bad. They weren't. I'm just saying that he had people that blindly supported him because of who and what he was, more so than what he was about.
Well,
that was my issue.
Well, that could also be said about Donald Trump, because a whole lot of people, because Donald had never been like you said, he dabbled into politics, but he'd never been elected into a political position. But a lot of people started to cling on to him because the rhetoric, the tough talk,
but but that's not what we were saying, right? So what we were saying was the problem I had with President Obama, and if Michelle made it through and became the nominee, it would be the exact same issue for her, and that would be devotion. But Trump didn't have that devotion until after he put policies into place and was elected. Obama, once, like even before he got elected, he had people that it was like a religion, right? People were bawling when he got elected on election night. I mean, they were crying. That's a level of emotion
Dennis?
that just, it's completely different. I mean, it's off the charts and it's huge, and I don't fault him for it. And he cultivated it well because he was such an amazing speaker. He had charisma.
It's comparable to how people treat the queen, and
that's
England,
fair.
like when Princess Diana, the way that they acted.
Absolutely. I think you're right.
It's just a different kind of following.
If Dwayne The Rock Johnson ran for president and won, you would not have Kevin and others standing around crying, hugging, singing Kumbaya, because they would be like, damn, this should be interesting.
All right, we'll go to break. We come back. Paul's going to talk about what you can find on the National Institute of Health webpage. Stick around.
I got something to share with you.
You're going to love this. This is so good. Outlaw Radio.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network.
Hey, by the way, can we put one thing to bed really quick? You know what I hate? I hate when we would say things like, Obama is a very articulate man or whatever.
That was Joe Biden that said that.
But I've heard people say it and get shut. That's racist for you to say that. A black man can't be articulate. No, he's just very articulate.
He is.
We just say he's articulate.
I know a lot of white guys that are not very articulate.
You? Yeah.
I absolutely. No, it's true. That he is so well spoken. I'm like jealous when I hear because he speaks with such passion.
Well, that's what I mean by a statesman.
See, okay, and I want to make this clear so that we understand each other. You say that to you as a statesman. To me, a statesman is a guy that can walk into a room with President Zelensky and President Putin and make peace. That's a statesman to me. That is somebody who can make other people better being around him.
That's a different caliber of statesman.
No,
it really is.
That's the type of statements we need to see.
It definitely is. But
that's where
you want someone who's a professional,
creature.
Tom. I think you're using the word statesman and professional in that. And
how Tom describes the charisma and stuff would be needed to do to the ends of what you need.
Yeah.
So yes, both.
It's just a different caliber of statesman, but someone who can.
Debbie spent too much time for Kevin. She straddled on the fence. Make a decision.
No, I
Alexander Hamilton
was not black.
Let's talk about the musical. By the way, neither was Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's Puerto Rican.
It's a joke, dude.
I'm just letting you know.
Holy cow!
I'm just letting you know.
Buy him a sense of humor. Not a short sense of humor either, because we know how that goes over. Listen, can you pull up? This is interesting.
I got a short fuse too.
So
he's not going to miss his shot.
Type in supremecourt.gov docket PDF
Not the mic.
/22/2.
Wait, what are we doing?
Remember, we're not an AM yet.
Right.
I know.
Okay.
What are we doing?
The Supreme Court case. There is a Supreme Court case that was just added to the docket about guess what?
What's it called?
So
the docket. What am I looking up again?
Go to the supremecourt.gov /docket.
Okay.
PDF /22/2. I don't have the rest of the address, unfortunately. Supreme Court case regarding the 2020 election just hit the Supreme Court docket. So for the last 2 years, we've been talking about, nothing made it to the courts or anything else. And by the way, subject matter on this court case involves the possible removal of a sitting president and vice president of the United States, along with elected members of the United States Congress.
Wow. Okay. We'll have to look it up.
So, I'm not prepared to get into it anymore because I haven't had a chance to read it yet. This information was just sent to me, but it's there. And I was just kind of like, oh, damn. So, if somebody had enough and it went through the system and it went through the proper courts to get to the point where the Supreme Court got to decide if they were going to take it, and they did, that's some fascinating stuff. I'd
love for you to share that link in our Outlaw chat.
Yeah, I can put it in the Outlaw chat.
You should do that.
Yeah.
I'd like to follow that bouncing ball.
Yeah, here we go. I'll put in. There we go.
Sounded like Debbie was just peeing on the air, but no, she was just pouring water into a cup. That's all.
That's what we're going to call it anyway.
15 seconds.
Don't get to pee.
Outlaw Radio. Back after this with the National Institute of Health.
Tinkle,
Sounds
tinkle.
boring. It won't be. Stay tuned.
1 DT, 1 cup.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network.
All right, Outlaw Radio, final segment of tonight's show. Unless you guys want to go later, we can go later.
No.
I got to get home before the monsters come out.
Before the monsters come out.
The freaks come out at night.
Bump,
Oh, wait, we're all here.
No, we're not. We're missing Boss Baby. What is she
There's
out
one
doing?
wandering the street.
But I did
Come
see.
with someone.
I saw the CEO came by in here.
Yeah, where'd she go?
Oh, Lori.
She
She's
was
around.
here, and then she left.
Here.
Probably.
Come here.
Whoa. She probably went to go
But
get
before you
Mexican
get
food.
into, I'm sorry, before you get into that, I just gotta do because I don't know. Kevin, how did you like us? How did you like the intros that we used while you was gone?
I didn't listen to the show.
You haven't listened to
No,
the
I haven't
show
listened
yet.
to the
Oh
show
Lord,
yet,
you need to really listen to.
There were
intros.
some. One night Jeremy set the intros up and he said,
It was
"Guys, Kevin
glorious.
owes me this." He goes because of all the short jokes he cracks. And yes, Jeremy, it was a glorious.
It was
intro.
a glorious intro.
I'll go back and listen to them when I can.
That intro would be fun.
What night was that?
Sunday.
The Sunday night.
I was
night
gone
you
2 Sundays.
Well, the first night, the first Sunday.
Sunday. Okay, I'll go back.
Well, you listen to podcasts while you work. Why can't you just listen to the show?
Because I don't listen to a lot of podcasts when I work. I listen to some sports stuff. It's just more filler.
So what you're saying is, even though we've been instructed to go back and listen to the shows,
well, I would like everybody to go back and listen because it does. It lets us all do better.
I listen to the show. I just don't do it when I work. I cannot, because here's what happens when I listen to this show while I work. I get distracted, and I'm like, God,
and then
I
he
can't
wants
believe
to scream stuff.
Then I can't believe, and then I'm not paying attention to my work, and then I fall behind. So I can't do that. I got to listen to the show when I'm not working.
All right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right, let's get to this last story.
Hey, Paul, can I ask you a quick question?
Yep.
Did Trojo get any taller while I was gone? Because I don't think he did.
No, he had a growth spurt.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead.
Yeah,
He
but you
bought
couldn't see it.
platforms.
And then it never mind.
So over the course of this weekend, somebody had sent me this video of a guy, I guess they're kind of like the duet videos on TikTok and stuff like that. And I had a hard time buying into this and believing this because this guy's like, oh my God, you guys are not going to believe what's on the National Institute of Health's website. And I'm like, okay. And then you can kind of see it behind him, like on a green screen kind of thing. I don't know how they do that, but it's really hard to read that stuff, right?
You press green screen.
Okay, so he's playing this stuff behind it, but his head and his face and everything's in the way. And I'm like, what is all this crap you're spewing about the National Institute of Health and the BS that was COVID being on there. I'm like, that's Anthony Fauci's realm of operations, dude. There's no way on God's green earth Anthony Fauci is letting anything negative about COVID going, to go on that screen. And what struck me was as I was watching this, I was that's close. As I was driving, I was listening to this, right? And I looked over to my right. We were stopped at a traffic light, and I literally see this guy, probably in his 30s, in the car next to me with a Bernie Sanders sticker and a mask on. I took that as a sign from God. So I was like, well, this is actually kind of fascinating. So I am going to go back to my house and I am going to look this up and I'm going to see what it says. And I'm going to tell this guy what I think of him for getting my hopes up about something negative about COVID being on the National Institute of Health website. So for those that are listening,
how do we find it?
Follow me like this. Type in National Institute of Health or NIH. Okay. And once you pull up the NIH, you will find a search bar.
In
the
upper
search
right-hand
bar
corner.
is the little, looks like a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
This is in case my mom was listening. And you click on that magnifying glass. So that
the magnifying glass is not linked to QAnon. So you're fine.
Right, exactly. And so then you'll pull up the little search this page and you type in COVID. What is the truth? As Kevin is doing this so that he can.
I'm doing it right now. And
Yep.
I'll link you
Doing
guys
it
the
on my
website.
phone.
I'll link you guys the so it brought me back here. How rapid tests perform against viral variants.
Oh, type in COVID update. What is the truth?
Okay, so it brings up a whole bunch of results.
And
that's not one of them.
So,
but you know what happened? This thing got out and they hid the results.
Well, it's interesting because I happen to have a copy of it. So when you go to the page, the author is Russell L. Blaylock. And the title of the article, this is in the Surgical Neurology International section, SNI of the NIH.gov website. Here's how it reads. I hope you guys are paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
The COVID-19 pandemic is one of the most manipulated infectious disease events in history. That's the first sentence, folks. Characterized by official lies in an unending stream led by government bureaucracies, medical associations, medical boards, the media, and international agencies. We have witnessed a long list of unprecedented intrusions into medical practice, including attacks on medical experts, destruction of medical careers among doctors refusing to participate in killing their patients, and a massive regimentation of healthcare led by non-qualified individuals with enormous wealth, power, and influence. I wonder who he's thinking of there. Not going to mention Bill Gates' name, but maybe. For the first time in American history, a president, governors, mayors, hospital administrators, and federal bureaucrats are determining medical treatments based not on accurate, scientifically based, or even experienced based information, but rather to force the acceptance of special forms of care and, quote, prevention, including remdesivir, use of respirators, and ultimately a series of essentially untested messenger RNA vaccines. For the first time in history, medical treatment protocols are not being formulated based on the experience of the physicians treating the largest number of patients successfully, but rather individuals and bureaucracies that have never treated a single patient, including Anthony Fauci, Bill Gates, EcoHealth Alliance, the CDC, the World Health Organization, state public health officers, and hospital administrators. The media, TV, newspapers, magazines, etc., medical societies, state medical boards, and the owners of social media have appointed themselves to be the sole source of information concerning this so-called pandemic. Websites have been removed. Highly credentialed and experienced clinical doctors and scientific experts in the field of infectious diseases have been demonized. Careers have been destroyed, and all in dissenting information has been labeled misinformation and dangerous lies, even when sourced from top experts in the fields of virology, infectious diseases, pulmonary, critical care, and epidemiology. All of these fields, the experts have been labeled as dangerous. These blackouts of truth occur even when the information is backed by extensive scientific citations from some of the most qualified medical specialists in the world. Incredibly, even individuals such as Dr. Michael Yaden, retired ex-chief scientist and vice president for the science division of Pfizer. Right? You get that?
Pfizer.
Pfizer.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
Yeah. Vice president for the science division of Pfizer Pharmaceutical Company in Britain, who charged the company with making an extremely dangerous vaccine, was ignored and demonized. Further, he, along with other highly qualified scientists, have stated that no one should take this vaccine. Dr. Peter McCullough, one of the most cited experts in his field, who has successfully treated over 2,000 COVID patients by using a protocol of early treatment, which the so-called experts completely ignored, has been the victim of a particularly vicious assault by those benefiting financially from the vaccines. He has published his results in peer-reviewed journals reporting an 80% reduction in hospitalization and a 75% reduction in deaths by using early treatment. Despite this, he is under an unrelenting series of attacks by the information controllers, none of which have treated a single patient. Neither Anthony Fauci, the CDC, the WHO, nor any medical governmental establishment has ever offered any early treatment other than Tylenol, hydration, and call an ambulance once you have difficulty breathing.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is unprecedented in the entire history of medical care, as early treatment of infections is critical to saving lives and preventing severe complications. Not only have these medical organizations and federal lapdogs not even suggested early treatment, they attack anyone who attempted to initiate such treatment with all the weapons at their disposal, including loss of license, removal of hospital privileges, shaming, destruction of reputations, and even arrest. Like, this is a serious article right on the National Institute of Health's website. He is calling out all of these folks that we for 2 years discussed regularly and the things that they were doing, to the point where we even had a part is to remove dissenting doctors from their positions as journal editors, reviewers, and retracting of their scientific papers from journals, even after these papers have been in print. Until this pandemic event, I have never seen so many journal papers being retracted. The vast majority promoting alternatives to official dogma, especially if the papers question vaccine safety. Normally, a submitted paper or study is reviewed by experts in the field, called peer review. These reviews can be quite intense and nitpicking in detail, insisting that all errors within the paper be corrected before publication. That was something that was presented to me when I was taking ivermectin. There was a host sat right here in this seat and said, well, Paul, do you have peer-reviewed proof? Yep, it's all right here. And you list it off. It's like, no, that doesn't count, right? This was a very common practice used by people who, basically bought the cake, ate it, and enjoyed it from a position of perceived superiority. We are witnessing a growing number of excellent scientific papers written by top experts in the field being retracted from major medical and scientific journals weeks, months, and even years after their publication. A careful review indicates that in far too many instances, the authors dared question accepted dogma by the controllers of scientific publications, especially concerning the safety, alternative treatments, or efficacy of vaccines. And that goes to what Brandy was talking about, right? About the governor. And he says, oh, you know what? If you're a state employee, as long as you had the vaccine 2 years ago, yeah, it's okay. You can keep your job,
Right.
even though there's zero efficacy left in it, Now, listen, I could read because this is considerably longer and it really goes on and we don't need to keep going. But I think it's important. And this is why we've said for 2 years, right, for everybody to do their own research, to make their own decisions, which is why we pushed back so hard against this idea of mandates. And you know what what this paper shows is a whole lot of vindication for people like all of us.
Yep.
It really does. It says, and this isn't something that you sit around and tip your hat over, say, ha ha, nanny, nanny, boo boo, we were right and you were wrong. Okay, no, I'll do that because there were a few people that were just jackasses about it. But we were. All of us sitting in here, because all of us, we didn't all agree on treatments and some of the minutia about this issue. But what we all agreed on is that nobody should be forced to get an injection. Take it if you desire. Take it if that's what you want to do. And we all agreed on that. Every one of us.
Yeah.
Dennis?
I'm agreeing.
Oh, okay. I thought
I think the bigger issue that will come out of this, I think, excuse me, generations from now, when they look back on this, what they will not argue about is whether or not the COVID process was correct or not, or whether the treatments are correct or not, or whether or not people made mistakes in the medical end of things, right? Because I think history will be very kind in the initial follow-up about what happened. I think what we'll learn out of this is the flat out refusal to accept different points of view, the flat out refusal to engage in the conversation, and the flat out dictation by the government about what the responsibility was and the actions that need to be taken. I think that's what comes as the
I really have to
lasting-
agree with that, because I mean, Paul and I were two sides of the same coin. He was ivermectin, I was like, go get the shot. And he got his goodness out of his thing. The beauty of it all is we're both still here to sit and be able to talk about it and have a conversation or bitch our bitches, whatever you want to call it. But hey, we're still here.
And I think
and my grandson has COVID right now, so I'm really pissed.
Yeah. but listen, I think the key thing is that people needed to be allowed to make their own calls and their own decisions, regardless, right? Because this is not bubonic plague-ish, right? Like bubonic plague would have wiped out 1/5 of the world's population when it went through.
Well, and remember, Kevin, we said this by March, right? Late February is when they said, "Oh, we got a case in Washington State," and they started doing the things they did. By the middle of March, everything was shut down. It took a matter of like 2 weeks. At that point in time, the Chinese weren't sharing any data, not really to speak of. The only data that was getting out was by citizen journalists, and it appeared, based on the videos and the photographic evidence that was coming out, that there was a high lethality rate to this virus.
Yeah.
But nobody knew. But by middle of April, we had a really good indication. Okay, this isn't exactly what they were saying, but none of us have blamed anybody how they dealt with this at the outset, right out the bat. We all just wanted to know more information.
Yeah.
And we didn't get honest information.
Well, we didn't, right? Because we had people like Governor Jay Inslee taking marching orders from the Gates Foundation, which was proven in the FOIA requests that were put forth on his emails.
And here's again the larger issue. What's different now than 2 years ago? I mean, 2.5 years ago. What's different? We're still seeing massive amounts of COVID numbers. We are,
Yeah,
right.
Mm-hmm.
We're still seeing hospitalizations due to COVID. The vaccine has reduced the risk in a good number of people, they say, but
people are still getting it.
A year and a half ago,
Yeah.
people were getting vaccinated, and you were still shutting things down. You were still closing things. Now people are still getting it. You're not closing anything.
Right.
The school. Here's the rule with school: if you test negative, you can come back to school. There's now no incubation period afterwards. You don't have to wait a certain number of days. You come back the day after you test negative.
And their excuse for that is going to be, well, the virus has mutated, things have changed. We've learned and continued learning more about it as it's gone along. So it was really bad at the start, and it's gradually gotten less severe as time has gone on. Okay,
right.
Does viruses do?
You're literally looking at it like it's a flu virus now.
And that's all it is now.
And that's pretty much all it is.
Yes, Kevin and I are both sitting here with
right.
our tissues.
Yeah.
Oh, for God's sakes, Debbie, you couldn't have put a mask on? You're going to sit here and you're just wiping your snot all over the table?
All over the place and blow it all over everywhere.
I haven't seen... Are you wiping your snot all over the table too, Kevin?
Over here.
Gosh.
That's why you don't sit on this side.
You guys... The
look,
CEO, she's backing away from the door over there.
But look, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Here's the problem. The problem is we don't have a baseline that we can accurately look at to determine anything. I know, and you may disagree with me, Paul. I know in my heart of hearts.
That was weird. Why did you start? Why? Go ahead.
I know in my heart of hearts that in March of 2020, we were in a dire situation in this country because of the number of people that were getting it, the number of older individuals, especially, that were getting it, immunocompromised people with respiratory issues that were getting it. And there were a large number of people dying in this country, right? I know that for a fact. Now, what I don't know is, was it because it was a highly contagious, more destructive version of the flu that were going to hit people anyway? Or was it a true pandemic? I don't know the answer to that.
Well,
I know what the media sells us. I know what our politicians have sold us. And I say all of this knowing full well that Debbie's in the room and I can tell the look on her face. She's focused on that, which is fine.
Yeah, as she should be. She has reason to be.
But I don't know if Goat, her significant other who passed, if he would have had a similar reaction to a very viral flu. I just don't know the answer to that. We don't have a baseline to base it off of. But I'll tell you today, there is no acknowledgement of any risk of COVID. The world has gotten back to normal. Nobody is doing anything to stop anything from being normal now.
So I have to push back on you for just a second because China has a couple of major cities that are on complete lockdown again.
I don't care about China.
Well, I'm just telling you, you said the world.
Well, okay, yeah, the civilized world has gotten back to normal.
Sure, the Chinese will appreciate that.
I don't think China's a civilized world. I think once you get out of their cities and into their villages, you're far from civilized. You're
true.
Third world nation in most of China.
Well, I agree with you.
But I guess my question is, and I've had this question the entire time we've talked about this, Paul.
Are you done yet?
I don't have enough access to information that I know is true, to be able to form an opinion about COVID.
That's been a big part of this, right? You don't know what you read, if it's true or not true. Because for every article you read, you go, wow, that really makes sense. There'll be 50 people over there that if it's outside of their narrative, they'll say it's not true.
Yeah. And now we have a guy on the NIH website. By the way, I did share a link to it. I found it. So it's actually in the National Center for Biotechnology Information, part of the NIH
a subdivision
website.
of NIH,
and it's still on the NIH website. And maybe this guy is a fringe Trumper.
Maybe he's been fired and the article is still up there, right? We don't know. We don't know.
But this was posted all the way back in April of this year. Okay, this is November.
It was pure happenstance that I think this guy happened to find it too. And
I think the bigger question is, and this will have to be something we explore on Sunday because we're not out of time. Why has nobody talked about this? Why has the mainstream media not talked about this?
Not said a word.
Why has Fox News not talked about this? I'm not surprised CNN isn't. This drives their ratings, right? They made so much money off of COVID and the fear factor. why
remember
is
they posted how many people died that day of COVID.
Oh, I know they had the
and,
running
and
joke.
every,
Every day.
45 seconds.
Yep.
Brought to you by
Pfizer.
Pfizer.
Yeah.
This segment brought to you by Pfizer.
Thank you for the money. My question is, why has this not been talked about and promoted more?
Yeah.
And because I don't know if it's right or not. I assume that this guy's got to be credible.
But
He's
you
on the
just
NIH
said,
website.
you just said, brother, why it hasn't been talked about more, right? We did a big segment on that a few months ago, as Debbie just alluded to, brought to you by Pfizer. It's like working for a movie theater and doing a review of a movie currently playing at that movie theater and making it a bad review and then wondering, why is my boss mad at me?
Yeah.
You know, that's love you, Jeremy.
Yeah.
I did a review of the movie, not the. All right, that's a whole different subject.
yeah.
Right there. We'll talk about that.
Now there are other people, there are other sites that have come out and said that the information is fraught with misinformation. There's a medpagetoday.com article that talks about this, that this article doesn't have a lot of. But listen, this is on the NIH.
Right.
It's on the NIH website. And I guess my question that I'll have to research before now on Sunday is, what qualifications does it have to make for it to be on the NIH website?
Mm-hmm.
Does he have to be an employee of the NIH? Does he have to be recognized by the NIH as a contributor? Like,
yeah, it's not like Wikipedia, man. You can't just go there because you feel like it and post on the
site. So I need
to
to find out what qualifications it takes to be on.
It's a good story. Let's do some research on it. We'll get back to it too on Sunday. Maybe, find out. We'll do some research, some background stuff on this particular guy that wrote the article. But when you read it, it is a damning testimony of our media, our government, the social media corporations, all of these people who controlled the narrative, and they did it viciously, and they did it, as he cited in the article, just like the old KGB would have in the Soviet Union. And for those who thought, and Kevin, it's almost like everything with COVID has been the culmination of my slippery slope argument for the last 15 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we keep going down this road, this is where we're going to be. And I don't fault Kevin or all the others that were on the show that told me I was nuts, because I would have rather been nuts, but it was like George Orwell, 1984. If you can understand where things are headed, it's not that difficult to see how we got to this point. It really isn't to me.
Find out who he's. An author, retired U.S. neurosurgeon, the clinical assistant professor of neurosurgery at the University of Mississippi Medical Center. Well, that's Mississippi though. He's a visiting professor at the biology department of Belhaven College. We'll do some more research. I do want to read you what he ends the article with.
Oh, good. Yeah, read that.
It closes with a quote from Mark Twain. Quote, "It is easier to fool someone than it is to convince them that they have been fooled."
So true.
So just think about that. All right. For those of you on AM, we're going to wrap the show. We'll do partying shots on Facebook only in just a second. We'll get out of here relatively soon. But I do want to thank our guest tonight for coming in. KJ with P.ink. You can find out more at p-ink.org. I'm always really impressed when people get involved on causes that don't benefit them. But this is not going to benefit her bottom line or her profit margin. It's going to benefit her personal bank of positivity and good things that she does. And, if you believe in karma or whatever, it'll benefit her that way. But this isn't going to benefit her bottom line. But I think it's really cool. And if you haven't had a chance, check it out. I encourage you to do so. Okay.
Check out this outro.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. For those of you on AM, we'll see you Sunday night at 8 p.m. God knows what we're doing. For those of you on Facebook, we'll have partying shots and wrap up next. Outlaw Radio. We love you guys.
You should make that my new theme song on introduction.
Kevin, did you catch that?
No, I didn't hear it. I was reading something
Glorious.
about what'd you say?
No,
this is my new
the
theme
music.
song.
Oh, this is yours?
Yeah, listen to it for a second.
Did you hear it?
I heard it.
Gotta listen.
It's Queen over Glorious.
No, you cannot use my.
I thought it was a good ending for the show.
Yeah, there you go.
Sunday is
Because it gets both of you in there in a respectable manner.
Yeah.
Sunday is the 20th, is it not?
Well, Friday's the 18th.
I know the 22nd.
For the whole
24 hours. Yep.
20th anniversary. All right, take Sunday off. Spend it with family.
And by the way, I'd like to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to bring a guest on that I felt really strongly about, and I knew who to bring it to. So
it was
super cool. I commend you guys, and I thank you.
I'm
for
totally
being the professionals that you are.
We should totally push and have her tattoo our logo, like on me and Kevin. Not a big one, just a little one. See how much she would charge us. Yeah,
shoulder.
Yeah,
and she'd do it live on air. She said.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
She said she'd come in here and do it live on air.
Would you do it, Paul, on air?
I would. Yeah. I would. That would. Yeah.
I'm gonna go see her.
Why are you looking at me shaking your head, Kevin?
I mean, I was fine for the one on my right shoulder. I mean, it's good. I just hate needles.
So do I. I'm a needle phobe.
Can I say something in maybe inappropriate and insensitive? I don't mean it to be. This is honestly a serious question.
To
who? Could you get the tattoo, Trojo? Because you're black with a darker skin? Would it?
Are you saying black men can't get tattooed?
I can definitely get.
My question is how would it show up if you're doing colors and things?
When you talk to I've had conversations with tattoo artists. I mean, you have to be clever with your use of different kinds of ink on darker skin,
right? And different tones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you use the different tones. Maybe not the same color red that they would use on you, but
okay,
yeah,
all right. I don't know.
No, I've always said if I get any tattoos, it would be I don't know if I do the show. I love y'all, but I don't know if I do the show. But I've always said that if I do any tattoos, it's going to be my daughters and
nothing wrong with that.
In memories of my mom and dad.
Yeah, no, that's
memorial.
That's
the best kind.
Oh, absolutely. That'd be.
Yep.
That's it. And I haven't even done that yet. So,
Tro, if you decide you want to get tattooed, I mean. KJ seems amazing, but I know a couple really good artists.
Oh, I know a lot of artists.
Cool,
tons of them.
You. Yeah, and, if you've got someone you vibe with real well. That's
y'all saw my daughter.
One of my great friends does tattoos and do them very, very well.
Local?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'm not giving a free plug to him. You're gonna pay me.
Jeremy, unfortunately, had the unfortunate pleasure of setting a friend of his up to do a show and get paid well, and it didn't go quite so well. So,
so he got paid.
Now Jeremy,
he got paid, and then decided to just lamp.
Hey, could you tell us how you felt about that movie Wakanda Forever? Could you give us a review? Could you do that, Jordan?
Look, I will say this: I watched it for free, and it. I ain't quoting nobody here.
Give
but,
your honest opinion.
But
give your honest opinion.
I thought it was just a weak script. The script was weak.
Well, again,
and you are the only two people I've heard say anything negative about it. I got friends that are
I think
Marvel.
I saw Joey comment on that, saying that
I was seriously say this. I'm sorry. I'll say this. I think a lot of people. What I had to do was remove the emotions of it out of it of the tribute to Chadwick Boseman, and I think that's what a lot of people are looking at. It was a great tribute to him. They gave and they spoke on it pretty much throughout the entire movie. Problem is with me being a comic book buff, I'm looking at this and I'm like, when the Black Panther died in the comics. And they put Shuri, made Shuri the female, the Black Panther. It fell so flat that they actually had to find a way to bring T'Challa back to life.
Yeah.
And when I watched this movie, I'm like,
you had the same feeling, didn't you?
It was the exact same feeling. It was like you can tell when he died, they really had no direction on which to go. They had to rush. I mean, first off, all of one of the problems I had, all of the other Marvel movies with the Iron Mans and the Captain Americas, they did all of them within 2 years. 2 years. It was a 2-year turnover.
Yep.
It took them 6 years to do this.
Well, because that's because he was sick and being treated and finally passed.
But if that was the case, because he
did, just mad because they didn't do a better job with it?
He did because he kept working. He did like 5-6 other movies.
He did the What If
while doing that. Marshall, 42, 40, shoot, the Hank Aaron movie. He did the James Brown movie. He did several movies. Like he kept working. He never stopped working.
It could have been, maybe it was a timing issue for him because of other contracts. I don't know.
It could have been.
And I think it's possible they didn't see the success of that coming when they made the first movie. Because there was a lot of questions before that came out about how an all-black superhero movie would even perform.
Right.
Because they really hadn't had that roadmap before on a movie.
No, but I think that's what made it so important to do it and do it right.
Yeah.
And that's why when they had him die in the Avengers Endgame Part 1, or the Avengers
Endgame,
right, when he disappeared, I was like, that just felt like a stupid move on my part, because I said, you just have a character that means so much to so many people, like deep emotional level, and you just killed him off. Like no other, maybe Captain America had that type of emotional appeal, but he really connected with people.
He really connected.
And I was actually really taken aback. This is a man who
I need to watch more of those
meant
movies.
so much to people and died in such a public way.
And
you can't get past that when you watch the movie. We're like, we didn't expect to lose him. He died of an unexplained illness rather rapidly. I'm like, no, everybody knows the poor guy died of cancer. Like, why not just say, and it's like that weird boundary that exists between movie. Like, why not just say, our beloved T'Challa died of cancer, right? Because then there's a sense of everybody's acknowledging the reality.
Because in that universe, they could not kill him with cancer because in Wakanda,
they made people turn to dust.
Yeah,
they could kill somebody.
Wakanda had the top-notch doctors. They would have had the cure to cancer by now.
I'm just saying,
they couldn't do that.
It made for an awkward situation, and it made the story fall flat, I thought. And listen, there's one really important aspect, though, to this movie that's huge for the Marvel Universe. Huge for the Marvel Universe because of the implications of this one important factor. Does anybody know what it was? Jeremy, you're the comic book buff. Do you know what it was? Do you know what part of this movie was huge to the rest of the Marvel Universe?
Well, no, I don't.
You had your first mutant. In other words, the X-Men and all the other mutants are now can now be fed into. Yep.
The Submariner.
Namor is a mutant.
Namor. He's a mutant.
Yes, and he shows you because of his age that mutants have actually existed behind the scenes and in the shadows for over 500 years.
So is this long before Luke Cage?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The mutants had already been around. But again, I mean, I'm gonna watch the movie again, and
I am too. I'm going to try not to fall asleep.
I'm just. It again for me. I won't change. I won't change my opinion of what I gave. And,
I would tell anybody that wants to see it, go down to Trayston.
Go down to the Trayston Movie House and definitely go watch that.
Get
movie.
the experience.
Get the experience of the Trayston Movie House. Absolutely.
Oh really?
I'm behind.
Oh,
I haven't seen any.
Love and Thunder is definitely worth watching.
I've seen Doctor Strange Multiverse.
I've seen Spider-Man. What is that noises? Dennis, you playing something?
Yeah.
That's right. I can see his permagrin though, right?
I'm commenting on stuff. I don't care if you guys didn't hear it.
I saw Spider-Man. What is that? Spider-Man Coming Home? Is that what it was called? Or Homecoming. Yeah, I saw that, and I think the last Marvel movie I saw before that was what's the one with Groot?
Avengers.
Come on, you got it.
The first Avengers.
Guardians of the
Galaxy. We only play it as a bomb.
Is Deadpool part of it?
No. So Deadpool. By the way, Deadpool 3 is coming out.
Deadpool 3.
And you know who's doing it with him?
Hugh Jackman.
Wolverine
is coming back.
Oh, you want to know movies that made me like physically really grieve? Logan. I grieved for 2 weeks after that.
Really? You want to know a movie that really made me grieve?
Where a red fern grows?
No.
Oh.
Halloween ends.
No,
they ruined an entire series of movies with one movie.
Did they really? Was it that because it was that bad?
They blew that one bigger than anybody blew Star Wars to death.
It was bad.
Blew Star Wars to death?
And Star Wars was ruined.
Yeah, Star Wars.
Whoa! What are you two smoking? Star Wars was not ruined.
Dude,
in fact,
episode 1, 2, and 3 were turds.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
Okay.
But I think
I gotta disagree.
the Disney sequels.
I think those are. I think the Disney seagulls are breathing life into the whole thing.
No, I think the new TV shows those are great.
Yeah, Andor has been spectacular.
I haven't gotten there yet.
I haven't watched that yet.
I haven't
but-
finished
I
Bad
did
Batch.
like Andor, but I did. I mean, obviously,
But Boba Fett and
Oh,
Obi-Wan,
Boba Fett was a little weird.
I haven't finished either
Yeah,
of those.
Boba Fett was weird. But you're right. Obi-Wan was slow, and it was
slow
hard to
at
get
first,
into.
But once you're into it, man,
Yes.
you're
Then
lost.
it was good.
There's
Halfway
a
through.
lot of
yep.
there's a lot of over talking going on. You guys need to work on this. We're on radio.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. We're on
No,
Facebook.
this is
We're on
excitement.
video. We're not on
Same
one
thing.
radio.
No, it's
Same
not.
thing. Same.
No, they can see us.
No over talk. Yeah,
Um,
I can't comment on this further because I haven't
course
seen
you
it in
can't.
movies.
Okay, well,
That's
my,
why you wanna
my,
cut us
my
off.
last
No.
comment is off topic, but those of you voting against the Chargers this weekend, they are getting two of their starting wide receivers
Who are they
back.
playing against?
Kansas City.
Yeah,
Oh, they're
well,
still
Are
going to
they?
get. They're
I
still
did
going to
not
get ass
think
raped.
I did pick Kansas City. but Chargers got a good team though.
What are you talking about? I picked Kansas City this weekend. I'm a realist. You know, I don't look in the mirror and say, you know what? I'm fat, but I believe I'm skinny.
And we're not even going to get into the football talk because fucking Aaron Rodgers. Anyway,
You identify as a Victoria's Secrets model, Dennis?
That's right.
Yes.
I'm gonna get my wings tattooed on someday.
find the right woman, you can get the Red Wings.
Got him.
Oh, you nasty.
Oh my god!
And to think,
My
I've
Lord.
met your children.
Anyway,
Also, I did
man.
receive messages thanking you guys for the interview.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm always impressed. You know, when people do stuff in the community like that, there's not enough of that.
No,
there's just
My sister was very thankful, and as well as KJ and the artist that's
Will you send your
working on my
sister a message?
sister.
Ask if I'm still a 3. Would you just ask that really
Okay.
quickly? Thank you. All right. Dennis, do you have parting shots, by the way?
Cooperate for kids. Go Chargers.
Chargers. All right. You guys are going to have a rough week. Seahawks won't lose this week, by the way. So there's that. Trojo, do you have any parting shots?
Fucking Aaron Rodgers.
Did the Packers win?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude,
Am I the only one
end.
that picked the Packers over Dallas this week?
Look,
let me check.
I don't even know what I picked.
I you know, I haven't been here, so I got to speak on it. What was so upsetting about that game?
What the hell is
The
that?
hell was that? What was so upsetting about that game
It's nice for
is
somebody to
They're
say
right there.
is
First game. You haven't even seen it yet. You didn't even look.
Dallas with our defense, our great defense, our phenomenal defense. They went into the fourth quarter with a 14-point lead.
Let me see yours. Let me see that.
There was no way they were supposed to lose that game.
7:45 Tuesday.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, that's for this coming week, Paul.
And then, of
You
course,
got to go back further. Than
Mike McCarthy decided
okay.
not to
You
kick
picked
the field
Dallas.
goal.
Okay. I picked Dallas over
that. You
Green
picked
Bay.
Dallas.
I was an idiot.
The only person that picked Green Bay over Dallas was Andy.
How does she do it?
I don't know. So
Anyway, yeah.
That is so
Some of the
weird.
games Andy picks is just like, no way.
I know.
And she's right.
She
It's
must
just
be
like,
drunk, and then she's right. Listen, she picked Detroit to beat Buffalo. No, hold on. She picked Indianapolis over Vegas. Her and Lori were the only ones that did that. So I mean, she does weird picks that just come out, right?
That don't make sense until game day and the game is over.
Yeah.
she's like, I pick them based on the colors of the skin of the quarterback.
So you know what's cool? Here's what's really cool is that I'm traveling. Like I'll miss the show Thanksgiving weekend, but I'll be in California.
That's next weekend.
Oh, Kevin.
That's a week from Sunday. Yeah.
Not to interrupt, Target.
Yeah.
But the response to your question is no.
Can I go up or down? I mean, it's possible I went down, and maybe I'm only a 2 now.
Oh, I think the Greg added at least a
I don't know.
0.5.
It's a little too long for me. The beard's a little too long right now.
Ugh. Stop shaving.
But anyway, I'm going to be in Cali the weekend of Thanksgiving, and the Seahawks play the Raiders that weekend. And I'll be,
what a gimme win.
I'll be at my brother's place, and they are
no
all
such thing.
hardcore Raider fans. So I'm gonna wear my DK Metcalf jersey and my Seahawk hat, and I'll probably bring a Seahawk jacket, and Seahawk. It'll be great. Oh, hold on. You need to talk in the microphone so the people can hear you.
You can talk in this one.
Would you like the diamond Seahawk necklace?
Yes, that'd be great. Yeah. I'll wear my Seahawk snuggie.
We're just trading diamonds now?
All right.
I got a raw emerald. I'll trade you.
Oh, outstanding. There is, listen, in Vegas, there's a shop in Vegas that does jewelry and really expensive jewelry. For $2,000, they have this jewel encrusted shaped like a football. It's a Seahawk football. And it's got a lot of blue and green. And I, I'm sure there's no real cool, expensive jewelry in there because it's $2,000. But it's
a wrapper by it.
It's not even like a football covered in stuff. It is crystal with different colors, and it's like $2,000. Yeah, it's gorgeous. I'll never buy it because
some of the crystal's beautiful. I know my wife bought some crystal to put in our cabinet.
Well, Kevin, I'm not getting a response, but I'm sure you moved up to a 4.
I hope so. I would rather spend $2,000 on a mail order bride. But DT, do you have any parting shots? Or George, were you done?
Oh yeah, I was done.
Fucking error. Yeah, your Cowboys are done too.
She did say.
Oh no, they're not done.
So
I would have thought they was
no
done.
What'd she say?
She said you moved up.
I moved up. Okay.
I would have thought they were
3.5.
done until the Commanders beat the Eagles.
Who saw that coming? Who picked that game?
Let me look.
I didn't pick that.
I don't think
Philly
anybody
was
picked
my
that
double
one.
down.
No, somebody did. Hold on, let me look.
It must have been, if anything, Andy.
Debbie was the only one
Debbie
who picked Washington
picked
over Philly.
Washington over the Eagles.
Over Philly.
The Eagles?
Yeah, Washington won, yeah.
Look.
Redskins.
Lori's like that drunk person that voted for Trump, and then Sunday morning he fucking won.
Yeah, that's how Paul was when he woke up the next morning too. All right,
Biden won. What?
Yeah, no, when Trump won,
That was a joke.
Because when we got off air, we weren't 100% sure of the results.
Which Eddie Murphy was.
Debbie, parting shots.
Thank you, KJ, for coming on and sharing P.ink.
Yeah,
with
I think
us.
it was.
Yeah, good stuff. Anything else?
But it was originally about Jesse Jackson.
We love you, DT.
We voted for Jesse Jackson.
Black Tom. Go ahead. What do you got, buddy?
Just the same drum I've been beating. It is that time of year. We're all going out and getting together and having drinks and seeing family and traveling places. Please travel responsibly.
And wear pants.
Yeah, and
No, you don't even have to wear pants.
Pants are optional, but don't drink and drive.
Do not drink and drive. I'm gonna hop on this bandwagon with him. In my entire family, I'm the only one. I'm serious about it. Do not drink and drive.
Yep.
Call someone. Taxis will pick you up for free.
Yep. Call an Uber. Call a Lyft.
You have no excuse.
Have a designated driver. Just be smart.
If you drive drunk, you have no excuse.
Yep. Yeah. And
don't drive tipsy either.
Hey, on Sunday's show, would you guys like me to make you alcoholic beverages on Sunday?
Yes.
Ooh.
No.
I have a recipe for it's called Wiki Punch. I got it on the cruise ship.
I'm curious.
It is amazing and does not taste like alcohol at all.
Can we do those bacon cup salad thingies?
We mean I have to bake the bacon, which is a cardinal sin.
But there's a purpose for it.
There is,
which means I need your oven, please.
You don't have an oven?
My oven still does not work. Still
you
does
can talk
not
to your
work.
landlord. Paul,
I
party
own the
shots.
house.
I know. Landlord.
Kill the landlord.
Paul, party shots.
Parting shots. I'll echo Dennis. Cooperate for kids, and if you don't, you're basically a bastard.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you.
Or the
I
kids
also
are.
have one more thing a station thing to put out.
Oh, go ahead.
Friday night, 6:30.
North Kitsap.
North Kitsap takes on the visiting Anacortes Seahawks.
Yeah, it's
in the state quarterfinals.
It's a match of two places I've actually lived. The first paying radio gig I had was in the city of Anacortes for KLKI, and they are the Anacortes Seahawks. And why are you rubbing your breasts, Trojo?
So I'm having cramps.
You having nipple cramps? How's that?
I'm out.
It's Trojo's time of the month. All right.
Shark Week.
Do you have any other?
Thank you for letting me get that up.
Yeah. So what time is that going to be on?
6:30 right here on Mega
6:30.
Talk, replayed on ISPNSports.com.
Oh, is Kevin Mack doing the broadcast?
Yep.
Outstanding. All right. We love K Mac. Paul, did you have any other shots?
No.
Okay. I have three. One, I'm going to make a proclamation tonight. The Mariners have done a couple of things. First, congratulations to Mr. Rodriguez for the Rookie of the Year, which doesn't really mean anything because Kyle Lewis got Rookie of the Year a couple of years ago and he's fallen off the fucking planet. But he deserved it. I'm glad he got it. The Mariners traded for Teoscar Hernandez today and gave up two relievers. One reliever, which was still in the minor leagues. Teoscar Hernandez is a beast. He's hitting 25 to 30 home runs a year. He's about a 270 career hitter. It's exactly what the Mariners need in their outfield. This is also going to be the end of Mitch Haniger with the Mariners, I'm sure, because they're not going to keep two right-handed bats in the outfield. So you can say goodbye to Mitchie Poo. I need to get a Haniger jersey before he leaves, though. So that's on my Christmas list. Hint, hint, hint. Because it's number 17, which is my number.
Whoa. That's my number.
No, it's my number.
That's been my number a long
Why
time.
is 17? How old are you?
49.
I'm older than you are. It was mine first. Fuck off.
It was mine before both you motherfuckers. So fuck off.
7/17/71.
Yeah, get off my.
It's 7/17/67.
Yeah, but I got more ones and sevens in my birthday than you do, so I win.
That's just been my jersey number for everything I've ever done.
I will tell you today that there's no way the Mariners don't make the playoffs and could very well challenge for the division next year. And this is before they have not yet traded, but will trade Jesse Winker away. And they have not done anything in the free agent market. So they're going to be.
So are you saying
Ladies
that the
and gentlemen,
collapse will not be televised?
This Mariners moment, you heard it here first.
There should not be a collapse this year. I mean, this team's not losing any significant pieces. They're only adding, and they've got plenty of room to add to payroll, and barring some major injuries or Rodriguez getting hurt or you losing some top line starters or something, that this team should be competing. That's number one. Number two, again, I love what they're doing at P.ink. Check them out, p-ink.org. Find out how you can contribute, how you can volunteer, how you can get loved ones who have gone through breast cancer into
they
the
have
program.
a Facebook page as well.
Okay, look for their Facebook page as well. Third and lastly, now that everybody is here, besides Boss Baby, I just want to thank you guys for doing such an outstanding job in my absence during the cruise. You guys are phenomenal, except for you, Paul. You fucking suck. But everybody else is amazing. And did you guys watch Yellowstone on Sunday? Have you watched it yet?
No, stop.
No, I haven't watched it either. Okay. I'm asking who has.
I've watched the first of the 2 episodes. I have not watched the second episode yet.
Just good?
You and I will say this, because this won't give anything away, that I cracked a lot of jokes about who was going to kill somebody first, right?
Uh-huh.
Was I way off?
Really?
And I was even more off about who was going to die. Because there is a character that there's a lot built around that does die. And it was gut-wrenching.
Really?
I mean, you start off a season with a major death. It is, I mean, it's a spoon to the eye socket. Man.
I believe this is Paul fucking with me for all the times I fucked with him during Game of Thrones.
Hey,
it's not.
What platform is this show on?
It's Paramount Plus. But
do you
can
have
watch it on
DVR?
Hulu.
Do you have DVR?
No.
Oh.
Okay,
No.
so
But
I
do
just
have
found out that
Paramount
it's on Hulu because
it's on Hulu.
Yeah, because I started
Oh.
watching it, but I could only watch like the first 3 episodes or something. So now I am gonna.
Who is
get it
your
on.
phone carrier?
T-Mobile.
Okay, well, it comes free with your prescription to T-Mobile.
It doesn't come free.
Oh, yes, it does.
They give you a bill credit.
Yeah, they give you a credit.
Well,
I worked at T-Mobile.
Yeah.
Well,
They-
I mean,
they-
I'm just saying, I don't see
get
it.
it now.
when they say it's free, here's what they do. They say, okay, you subscribe, provide us proof that you've subscribed through this link on this website, and we'll give you a matching credit to your bill for the cost of it. So
It balances out.
On your checkbook, it's free, but it's not. It's just another bill to pay.
Hey, as long as my bill didn't increase by adding that or
It all comes out in the
Apple
wash.
Television, so that's all I know.
Yeah. As long as it all comes out in the wash.
I shared a link for P.ink on our webpage.
Perfect, thank you. And so the third thing I just want to say is I'll see you guys Sunday.
Yeah. I'll tell you about that on Paramount.
Did we figure out what we're going to do Sunday to be a little lighter? Can we get away from politics for it?
We should.
We should.
I can bring in alcohol.
Well,
I'll make
no.
drinks.
What we'll do is we'll prep for it on Sunday, and we'll do some more social topics.
Oh, stop it! Let's
We'll
just
do
throw some
social
ideas in
topics.
the chat.
That's what we always do.
I know, but let's actually follow them.
Ukraine.
There's going to be football on all day in the distillery, by the way.
There will be football on all day.
We'll do
every Sunday.
Bacon salad cups, and I'll make my meatball wrapped in bacon things. And
those
we'll
were
just,
good.
Yeah, we'll just do food and drink and just BS.
So we'll eat on the air. That's perfect. All right, we'll see you guys on Sunday.
Tulsa
8 p.m.
Kings.
Take
next,
care.
Next Paramount. Tulsa Kings.
I started watching
That
it.
one looks interesting.